Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man House with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. See, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high into the darkness. I hope I get there soon. There's so many things to do, so many people I need to talk to, and they've all been waiting for me. Well, I gotta make it through. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Thank my stars for every green. You have no idea what it means. No, no. To a man who's always traveling, who's seen the things that I've seen. I don't know what's yet to come. Not sure of anything that I've done really makes that much difference. Well, I hope it has for some. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Well, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high up in the darkness. I promise that I'll make it to you very soon. Something special happened today.
What's going on, good people? Back at it again, back in the building. What am I trying to do here? Trying to get rid of something that don't need to be here. Don't need to be here. Where is it? There it is. Y'all can't see it, but I can see it, and it's annoying me. So I gotta get rid of that. And now we good. Now we back. Now we in the building. What is going on? Shout out to everybody that made it in bright and early. Make sure you excuse me. Goddamn, that one hit hard. I felt that little bodily reaction all the way from here all down, just deep in the gut. But what is happening, my good people? What is happening? Got 40 people in the building. Let's make sure we hitting that like on the way in. Only 17 likes. Only 17 likes. Let's go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get this thing started. Got another breakdown of an article that they wrote to defame and shame the wonderful gentleman of MGTOW. The wonderful gentleman of MGTOW. I don't claim to be some MGTOW expert. I have talked to a lot of MGTOWs. I've talked to BGS, Zero, Male Enlightenment TV. I had the infamous MGTOW Dictionary on here. That's actually a very popular show. I think that one is up to like 7,000 views. So I've chopped it up with quite a few MGTOWs. Don't consider myself a MGTOW, even though there's been some delineation of level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, infinity MGTOW, all kind of shit going on. But be that as it may, here we are going to do a breakdown of the article. Somebody said drop the link to the article. It was sent to me via email. So I don't know how exactly to go about that. Because it's not like a URL connected to it, unless it's just something I don't understand. So I don't know. I got to check that out. We'll get into that. Ray Alexander is the person who sent me the article. He's the one who actually wrote the article. So I'm quite sure he's going to pop up here today. I haven't spoke to him since he sent me the article, but I do understand, or I do know that he did say he would like to come on today. And I woke up this morning and read the article and was like, okay, cool. That's what I'm talking about today. And so I haven't had a chance to talk to him. But normally when he just send me an article, I just randomly at my leisure do a show on it, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing here today. And if he comes, he comes. If he don't, he don't. If you do want to do a formal one-on-one, me and him can go at it and chop it up then at some other time if you don't make it on today. But anyway, as I always do, shout out to those that make it in bright and early. I started calling y'all the early bird squad when I was consistently coming on every day at 9 a.m. All those people when the channel was small that made it right in. I appreciated all of y'all because I used to hit that go live button and used to sit there and think. And I know there's still some smaller content creators. I still consider myself small, but it's just someone that's smaller than me to hit that go live button and probably sit there for 3 minutes, not seeing nobody come in. So so I know that feeling. So every time I see those first comments, it's like I still have that, okay, I have an audience. I still have that feeling that I may hit that go live button one day and nobody will show up. So I'm very thankful for everybody. I appreciate all the people that come through, that enjoy the show, that support the show in any way that you support the show. And as you can see down there at the bottom, Wrenchgate is officially over. All wrenches will be returned to their rightful owner within 2 to 3 business days. All right. Dark Knight Mentality in the building. What's going on? Came through the first comment, the first early bird that made it in there bright and early. SKC says he's second to none. Yes, you're wrong. You goddamn coon. You're second to Dark Knight Mentality. Get it right. We're doing cockeyed coon math. You second. Dark Knight mentality in the building. Looks like I beat everyone today. You certainly did. You get the gold star. You get the gold star. You made it in bright and early. Blackfoot. That's a weird name. Blackfoot. Blackfoot. Flat. I'm reminded of Flatfoot Trickin. Shout out to Mr. RJ. Blackfoot Trickin. What the hell is that? All right. Falcon Black says interesting. Yeah, this will be interesting. Albert says SYSBM. Aaron B in the building. Melody is in the building. And yes, as she says quite often, hit the like button. Well, I was about to do Brother Xavier. Hit the goddamn like button. But yes, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Even though it was created by Wiggers. Interesting. Who else we got in here? My man New in the building. Melody is posting become a Patreon. And she says, you also become a mod. That's still more or less kind of partially true. That's still true. That is still true. You still will become a mod if you become a Patreon. But those that were not mods, those that were mods who were ranked up, who were not Patreons, will not lose their wrench. And as you see down there scrolling at the bottom, that wrench gate is over and you will be returned your wrench within 2 to 3 business days. Almost everyone will be returned their wrench in 2 to 3 business days. Where do you buy your suits? From this dude on the corner selling watches and I was about to try to come up with the most ratchetest place to buy a suit. But no, it varies. There's a little local spot that sells suits. There's Marshall Fields, J.C. Penney's, wherever. It's not even not a lot of thought to it. Not a big thought process. Not a big thought process to it, Not a big deal. Don't pay that much for it. Don't pay that much for them. Yeah. Kenny Conjo in the building with the first super chat of the evening. He said the end of the week is creeping up on us. I wonder, will we see you in a... Probably not. Because I haven't put any thought into it until you just said something. The Cocktails with Quains had costumes, but I was a little confused because Lisa Ray was looking like she was going as a witch when nobody else was in costume. So I think that was just how she was looking. But then they did another show that, now they're dressed up. I thought they were in costume the day before, but they actually did a show where they were dressed up. But anyway, you in a costume, get up on Saturday, Bernard. Bernard Riley, good day, everyone. I might not. I haven't put no thought into it. I don't know what I would do. My routine for Halloween was typically buy like a really scary mask, quite often like a wolf mask, and then just go trick-or-treating with my kids. And they older now. My youngest is 12. And then there's Corona, so I don't think we'll be doing any trick-or-treating this year. But that was the typical game plan. Get a scary wolf mask of some sort, some monster mask, and just walk. Jessica trying to get at me. She said you should dress up as a Berenstain Bear that Silent always calls you. Okay, I'm. How do you dress up as a bear? Well, I guess they got Berenstein bear mask somewhere. Somewhere. But I think the joke is I don't need a mask because he said I just look like one of them. But anyway, I just need the yellow button up in the overalls. Melody says I'm going to be a sexy witch. Pics coming soon on IG. You mean OnlyFans or no? No OnlyFans, sexy witch, get up. It was some whispers of Melody starting a YouTube channel. I do think people will flock there and she will get a lot of subscribers, but that her starting a YouTube channel is selling it short. If she just drop, and I will allow her to drop her OnlyFans link. I will help y'all simp. I will. If Melody start a OnlyFans, she can drop her link in my chat whenever she wants. Because I know y'all will show up. Making it rain. I will help her. I just want 5%. 5%. But shout out to Kenny Conjo with the super chat. Mumia Obsidian Ali in the building. He says, hey, while you mind posting up the link to the article, I'd like to take a look at it. Thanks. Okay, now I got to try to now y'all making me think. Now you're making me think. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to I don't think he sent it to me in the form of a link, which I will communicate with him and say, hey, if you're going to send me something, send me a link. But I don't think he sent it to me in the form of a link. I think it's in the form of just I didn't see a link. I'm going to check it out. We're going to see. We shall see. Give me 1 minute. There we go. All right, let me see if there's a link because it's just here in email form. Very well written and laid out, but I can email it to Obsidian, but that's not fair for everyone else who wants the article to quickly read it. Obsidian, I'll just forward it to you, and then you'll have it. And that's that. Sorry for the dead air, ladies and gentlemen, but I do want to deliver on this real quick. Sorry for the dead air. How do I? Damn it! I'm gonna have to do it on my. Oh, that's it. That's how you forward to Obsidian. All right, there, Obsidian have it. Showing favoritism to Obsidian. You got it, Obsidian. Everybody else don't have it. You just have to follow along with me. There it is. Sorry for the dead air, everybody. Again, we got 133 people in here. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. We about to get into it. And since I already had the article up, I forgot what we was talking about before I got distracted with trying to figure out how to put that whole article in the form of a link so I can drop it in the chat, but he just sent me just like it was just like in a raw email form. So no, I can't send it to you like that. I apologize. I apologize to everybody who wants the article. So you gonna be a Wizard of Oz, Black Cone Hat Witch, or Old Salem Bonnet Witch? Yeah, really trying to get at Melody's witch costume. Well, since I had the link already pulled up, I'm going to go ahead and share it. Once again, sorry for the dead air. Yeah, but here's the article. That's the, he put some work into it. You can see right there where it says, "Hello, Bernard. When you get a minute, could you check out my article, Why MGT Won't Save Black Men? This is another hot topic that I'm confident you'll do a great job presenting to the Black manosphere. And if you discuss the topic on an evening or weekend, see, you can't do mornings, but it says on an evening or weekend live stream, I'd definitely like to call in. In addition, could you play some audio from Kim Foster?" I listened to that and no, I'm not playing it. Play some audio from Kim Foster's "Sir, do you have man of the house money?" In particular, from 0 to 848. That was the whole thing, from 0 to 848. So he basically saying, could you play the whole damn thing? Because he apparently feels we need to hear what this woman has to say to us, because it would just make us just straighten right up. Obsidian, you're asking, Ray Alexander wrote the article. Okay, so let's see. The name of the article is "Why MGT Won't Save Black Men" by Ray Alexander. And for the person who says that, if you give us the name of the article in the source that posted it initially, we can look it up. Fair point. I wanted to drop the link, but yeah, I don't think I'll be able to drop the link. So just go ahead and just look it up yourself that way. That should work out. All right. I'm sure y'all can see everything on the screen. This is Why MGTOW Won't Save Black Men. Let me put this right here in front of me. Get this out of the way. That way I can see what's going on in the chat a little better. Obsidian, when you say you're not sure what Ray Alexander is linking his piece to Kim Foster, but okay, yeah, I'm not sure why he did that either. She just went on a riff, making similar points to the points that he was making. But I don't know why he would want to connect it to that. That was why I was under the impression he would always connect it to some stuff that some women said. That's why I was under the impression that women were writing a lot of the articles that he would send me. But he's actually doing the writing. I mean, yes, he does clip some things from other places, but yeah, he connected his thing to the Kim Foster. I think that's her name. Yeah, Kim Foster from For Harriet. He connected it to her and what she said, because she went on a rant where she said what amounted to some typical rhetoric that went somewhere along the lines: if I'm paying half the bills, I don't have to submit to you. She defined submission damn near as abuse in some instances. but her implication was that if a man was making enough money that she would submit, so you would allow yourself to be abused if the price is right. I mean, like their arguments are really bad, but there's that. But you know what that amounts to? No, she's not going to allow herself to be what she considers to be abuse if the price is right. You know, she's not going to allow that. So what she's really saying is, I ain't submitting to no down body. That's really what she's saying. So all the rhetoric about how much money black men don't make, that was all just fluff talk. And she acknowledged in the article something that they never do. I was actually impressed that she acknowledged, not in her article, but in her YouTube video, she acknowledged that black men make more money than black women by almost $100 a week or something like that. So she acknowledged that black men make more money, but she's saying the mere fact that she has to make any money means that, you know, it's no submission or you know, you can't lead, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, because she's doing any work and paying any bills, even though we know the data that most women work in their marriages and most women are not having this conversation. I'm going to get into that with the article. Going to get into that in the article. But anyway, Ray Alexander's article is Ray Alexander. The article is titled, for those who keep asking for the link, it's called Why MGTOW Won't Save Black Men. And so just type that in Ray Alexander. You may find the actual source, but he sent it to me in the form of an email. Therefore, I can't exactly link it to you. And if there's a way to do that, I don't know the way. So I don't know. I don't know the way to do that. I don't know the way to do that. But without further ado, let's get to the article. All right. Starts off, she's saying, because it has been extremely difficult for many black men to establish themselves as economically attractive potential husbands. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to highlight that. Because it has been extremely difficult for many black men to establish themselves as economically attractive potential husbands, and especially as strong financial providers that could support black women and children as the chief breadwinner for the black family. Now, let's start right there with the nonsense that he's coming with out the gate. He's throwing it back to one of his previous articles that was titled "Economically Unattractive Black Men," where I guess he think he cracked the code of why black women's marriage prospects are so grim, because black men are economically unattractive. So he's throwing it back to that, clearly, and obviously that's what he's doing right there, but he's saying it as if he's just cracked the code. Like, Holmes, we've cracked the case and it's over. That's what the problem is. We can etch that in stone. Black men are economically unattractive, and that's why black women marriage prospects are so low. That's the baseline that he's starting from, as if that's just been proven, blown away, knocked out of the water. And like I said before, like I've always said, black men make more money than Hispanic men. They're not exactly having this conversation over there. And the gap between what black men make and what white men make is not such a wide gap to where, you know, that statement is either bullshit or it has to be applied universally. Because most men in this country don't make what most women think men need to make in order for them to be, very economically attractive and able to pay 100% of the bills. But he's starting off with that thing, with that whole premise from the start. It's difficult for many black men to establish themselves as economically attractive potential husbands, and specifically strong financial providers that could support black women and children as their chief breadwinner for the black family. But as I said before in the article that he linked the YouTube video that he linked his article to, already established that black men, well, posted the obvious fact that black men make more money than black women. So for them to establish themselves as breadwinner in the family, that's actually fairly easy. It's statistically probable. The only thing that makes it not statistically probable is if the data that we've laid out here in the Black Manosphere quite a few times, that uh, men with bachelor's degrees at least marry out at a 30% rate, and that has nothing to do with the dating out aspect of it, which is some harder data to find. But men with bachelor's degrees marry out at a 30% rate, so it can possibly become a situation where those that are left are more equalized to what black women make. And it will go back to previous articles that we've talked about and we've looked at here, where it showed that that 50% of all women expect to pay or occasionally pay at least half the bills or more, 50% of the time. Or that was what it was. I think it was 50% of all women, not black women, all women of other races expect to pay 50% of the bills or more, at least occasionally. So the same thing that she's talking about is generally across the board. Generally across the board in this country. There's only a small percentage at the top, and that's the percentage that Kevin Samuels speaks to. A small percentage at the top that are really living like that, to where the man has money like that, to where, the woman can literally, like, I don't have to work if I don't want to. And it's not even so much, Kevin doesn't exactly take it this direction, but this is where I would take it. I don't have to work if I don't want to. I would say, it really should be, she doesn't have to work and they don't have to make sacrifices. I want to be able to not work. I want to be able to stay home without sacrifice. That's really what it is. That's really the thing. Because there's a lot of people where the husband and the wife can get together, and the man, he got him, hopefully make above average, hopefully get in that 60, 70 range. Hopefully he's in there, even if he's at around 50, hopefully he's working his way up to 60, 70. That's a situation where, as long as you're not living in California, like you're not living in LA, a wife can stay home off that, but it'll be some sacrifices. So what they're really talking about is staying home without sacrifice, staying home and still living a certain lifestyle. That's really what they're talking about. That's really what the women are essentially talking about there. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Shout out to Black's Word 404. He did become a Patreon, and I am wrenching you up. I'll still uphold to that rule that Patreons do get a wrench, but those who previously had wrenches still keep your wrench. Wrenchgate is officially over, and all wrenches will be returned to their rightful owner within 2 to 3 business days. All except one person. Good morning, Naima. I'm not going to bring up the joke from yesterday that Darth Slausius imposed on us. It was all his fault. He had no business talking about your personal dealings. That was wrong of him. So we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. St. Cloud, what's up? What's going on? Thanks for hopping on the panel the other day. Another Patreon came through. Not Patreon. Super Chat came through. He says, the Oklahoma Bachelor, if anyone needs to go MGTOW, it's black men. LOL. Right on. Right on. I'm with you. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I got to go on mute for a half second to yell upstairs to my son to bring me my phone. All right, I had to yell upstairs to my son to say, bring my phone. He said, where's your phone? I said, it's in the house. Gave him a wide range of where to look for it. It's in the house. Start looking. He wanted me to tell him it's in the back left-hand corner. Is on the back left-hand corner of the microwave with XY coordinates. Bring me my phone. Where is that? It's in the house. Find it. All right. Where are we? Not here. Yeah, Jonathan says MGTOW was just living your life on your terms. It's a simple definition. I think you simplified. it. I think he's definitely simplified it. I mean, it seems to be more to it. I like MGTOW when it's simplified to that degree. Your life on your own terms. I like that. But and maybe it's the fault of MGTOWs themselves who have seemingly overcomplicated it. Bernard Riley says, Obsidian says Ray Alexander's wait, hold on. Come on. Camera's off. Can't nobody see you. Thank you. Yeah, he says Ray Alexander's piece is factually inaccurate, and even a quick Google search will bear that fact out. Yeah, I agree. We're about to get into that. You said it was poorly written, and see, that's where you're just a better writer than me, because it didn't just reek of being poorly written to me. It seemed written okay, but I will yield to your expertise on that. If you say it's poorly written, I'll take your word. But it seemed okay to me. But I will definitely yield to your expertise. It says Ray Alexander's piece is poorly written. I'm sorry to have to say it, but there is no evidence, research, or studies have been cited throughout the piece, and his linking it to the other chick, I forgot her name, is shaking my head. Yeah, I agree. That's the first thing I was thinking. Like, why is he linking it to her? Why? But he does that a lot. The last few articles, he linked it to a black female YouTuber and suggested that I play her video on my stream, which I'm not going to do, but there's that. All right, gotta have my phone on hand because it makes it easier to check things and keep up on things while I'm on the air. All right. All right. I just got a new Patreon. From somewhere. Somebody whose government name I don't want to say. Oh, that's Al Boogie. Al Boogie just became a Patreon. Shout out to Al Boogie. Appreciate it. I won't let you down. No. See, somebody else thought that was funny when he asked, where's my phone at? And I said, in the house. I always do that. Hey, I need you to find my so-and-so. Or one day I asked him I needed a hammer for something. Not that I'm just around here just just working on shit all the time. Not to try to make it seem like that, but you know, I needed a hammer for something. I said, hey, go grab me a hammer. Where is it at? It's in the house. That's how you do them. That's how you do them. Give them hell. For no damn reason. No, I'm not. I feel like my stepdad used to do that to me. He used to have me doing ridiculous jobs for no damn reason. Cleaning the garage, even though it looked the same exact way after we was done. So you basically just woke me up early in the morning to have me move all the shit on the left side of the garage to the right side of the garage, and all the shit on the right side of the garage to the left side of the garage. That's all we did. It looked exactly the same way. We just reshuffled the seats on the Titanic. That's all the hell happened. All the hell that happened. So no, I don't do my boys like that. I don't do them like that. I was tormented with that shit. Like, you just giving me busy work just to give me busy work. I hated that. Osama Abdu in the building says BR just got on. No wrench. What is wrench? Says what is wrench gate? I thought you had a wrench gate is when I took wrenches trying to I think you had a wrench before, so I'm giving yours back. See, I'm already returning wrenches to their rightful owner. Wrench gate is what happened around here when I tried to implement the thing, basically saying Patreons will have wrenches. And so I removed a lot of wrenches from people and only gave wrenches to those that were Patreons. And I've decided against that since, after listening to the people, listening to the folks. They made really good points. There was fine arguments on both sides. So I listened to the people, and I understood. Some people can't for whatever reason, they can't be a Patreon on their prepaid plantation line of credit. They can't be a Patreon on there, but they can hit the super chat or the Cash App, so they just do it like that. Some people, for whatever reason, they don't like to do Patreon monthly commitments, but when they, got a little dough, they might drop 20 on it here and there. And I don't want to, people have done that, and I've given them wrenches, and got respect for people like that. So to take a wrench away from them, is like kind of, yeah, that ain't cool. Don't want to alienate or disrespect those who've been supporting the show because they can't support it in this particular way. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to give everybody a wrench back, except for Sister George. Melody is down there campaigning for Sister George's wrench. Says, give Sister George her wrench back. No. I said 2 to 3 business days. And so she's going to be on the back end of that. She's going to be on the back end of that. She's like all the way last on the list. It was in alphabetical order, but I reshuffled it to make sure it's in order of fuckery to least fuckery to most fuckery, and then there's that. So she ended up on the back of the list. Jessica X says, give Falcon. Okay, goddamn, you the wrench police? Shit. Post something, Falcon Black. Falcon Black didn't even have. Okay, yeah, he did. I think he did. Okay. No. Sister George gotta wait. Sister George gotta wait. It's a list. I'm going in order of least fuckery to most fuckery. So she's bringing up the rear on that. All right, back to the article. Let's focus. I'm like 2 lines into the article. It's a lot here. All right. There's a tragic fact that where are we at? The tragic fact of the matter is that many Black men have fallen behind in the transformed information digital economy, where stronger technical skill sets and some post-high school education are required. Yeah, okay, Obsidian out here. Okay, I understand. Poorly written. Required to provide the high incomes needed to purchase a suburban home. So a fair discussion could be had about black men falling behind in some areas. That's a fair discussion. Fair discussion. Thank you, Melody, for the super chat. Campaigning for Sister George's Ranch. I see. Falcon Black. She helped you get your range back, but then you still berated her. This is a man's space. Don't be trying to tell people what to do. I like that. But that wouldn't tell me what to do. That was just an acknowledgement that you were a wrench holder who's posting in the chat. You were indeed a wrench holder who was posting in the chat that I needed to make it. Judge Zilla says, Sister George, she could just use her ratchet. That's a good one, Judge. She could just use her ratchet. Man, we 46 minutes in. I barely started the damn article. Yeah, got me on some bullshit. So some things can be said about that. Some things could be said about black men. Do got to step up in this information digital economy. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Okay, but here comes some fuckery. To purchase a suburban home. That suburban home, that goes back to what I said. Women being able to stay at home, but without sacrifice. They want to be able to stay at home without sacrifice. And they got to have that, they want to be able to stay at home, but still have the amount of money and lifestyle as if it was two incomes in the house. Which, okay, I'm not even going to get into that. And a stay-at-home mom lifestyle. A stay-at-home mom lifestyle can be frugal and coupon clipping. Don't cost a lot of money to be at home cooking, cleaning, and wiping noses and changing diapers. I mean, that's not an expensive lifestyle. Oh, you mean the Birka bag. Is it Birkin or Birkin? See, I don't even know. I just Birka bags made the news lately. I don't know what they call it. I never heard of them. I mean, I heard of them, but just don't know that much about. I don't care. But anyway, stay-at-home mom lifestyle that many black women are demanding in order for them to give up their nice office jobs and independence. Now, you notice how he's describing man work. You know, black men working, they're not meeting the mark. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. But black women who are working regular jobs, making less money than black men, he's saying they're nice, cozy office jobs and independence. But you're writing an article against MGTOW, which ultimately would amount to men having their own job and their own independence. MGTOW is about independence, but you justifying women not wanting to give up their independence. But it's wrong for a man to not want to maintain his independence and his own life choices and everything on his terms, how he wants it and whatnot. You see the contradiction there when you're trying to criticize someone for being MGTOW at the start of the article. It's a clear contradiction or imbalance there. Clearly. Absolutely 100% clearly an imbalance there. But I just find it laughable that he's even referring to them working and being independent and not wanting to get on board with the traditional social norms of society as them giving up a cozy office job and independence where he linked it. And again, he linked this to a YouTube video of a woman who was pointing out how much less black women make than black men. Not that it's just an astronomical amount, but they're making less. They're making less while berating men about essentially not making two incomes. A man can have a normal average income. That's not enough. You can't provide. You need to make two incomes in order for you to be considered a provider. Otherwise, you're economically unattractive. So I'm justified in staying here in my independence of my cozy office job. But the MGTOW is not justified in saying, oh, I'm not going to work myself to death. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make money. A lot of man jobs are hard, especially if you don't have an education or degree. Doing blue collar work is hard work. Working construction is hard work. You know, operating machines, lifting heavy equipment, working on assembly lines, doing all of that stuff, working in warehouses and factories and all of that stuff. It's hard physical labor. You come home, you know, after being on your feet 10 hours in steel toe boots, you know, your feet hurt and your back hurt. It's hard work. So you're saying he's wrong? If he's looking at this, hey, I'm a free individual who's working hard. I want to make my own money, live my life on my terms, and I'm not going to be bound by any socially constructed norms. I'm not going to be bound by any socially constructed norms. I'm going to do it on my terms, when I'm ready, how I want to. You're saying a man is wrong for that. And I can understand to some degree where that comes from, because I do feel like men are burdened with a responsibility. I do get that. I get that 100%, and I'm with that. But you're making a BS excuse for women to just skirt on their traditional duty and responsibility. Even in this world that has changed. To say that they're only duty bound to do what women have done for years, if a man is making enough money to ultimately replace her income, to make enough money to where you see him as economically attractive, and then make enough money on top of that in order to replace her income and have her comfortable and cozy with no sacrifice living at home. And more times than not, these are average looking women talking about this. Shout out to Kevin Samuels again. He's a woman on his show last night. I caught the calls. I didn't hear all of his opening diatribe, but I did catch the call. I normally catch the calls when I listen to Kevin Samuels. That's the part that's gold. That sometimes you just can't turn away from those calls when those calls start happening. But so I normally, if I can't listen to the whole thing, which I normally don't have time to listen to the whole thing, I'm bare minimum gonna catch those calls. And a chick who showed her face, a generous 5, when he asked her, would you marry a plumber? Her knee-jerk reaction, no, just immediate. 5 at best. I think 40 years old. I think she was a nanny for a living. Not for like rich people. She wiped ass. She was a 40-year-old woman who was a very generous 5 who wiped asses for a living. A minimum wage ass wiper at 40, who's average looking, and just, you know, she probably, you know, I don't beat women up on about the weight like Kevin Samuels and many others in this space, but looking at her face, she probably, you know, she looked like she probably had a little bit of, looked like it was a little bit of food in her cheeks, you know, it was, you know. So there's that. So, average looking women talking about, well, not just average looking women, average women who are performing averagely in every way of their life, saying in order for them to in order for them to not be WGTOW, women going their own way, a man essentially has to make $150,000 a year, bare minimum. 100,000, give or take the city. And there's some weird math going on in big cities in LA that I don't even understand, where they come up with the numbers of 300,000. Hey, I take their word that if that's what it takes for a man to efficiently provide for a family without sacrifice, without them sacrificing anything, the type of house they want, type of neighborhood they want, type of school they want to go to, the type of cars that they all want to drive, husband, wife, and kids, the type of colleges they want to go to, without making any sacrifices or reshuffling any chess pieces. And I suppose that's 300. They say I'm being told it's 300,000. I don't know. I can be honest and say I don't know. That's big city living. I understand that college and all of that. Yeah, that takes some bread if you paying outright for all of that. But just far as just getting from 1 month to the next, you got to have a $300,000 a year salary. That's a foreign language to me. In a small town, that's a foreign language. But I take their word. I take their word. I think I missed some super chats. Hopefully not. The White MGTOW have a different fight, in my opinion. Thanks, Falcon Black, for the super chat. Al Boogie in the building. He here says, "Here's 5 cash to keep Sister George Wrench away for 5 more business days." Damn. Trying to see if I got anybody else's. If I missed your super chat, I do apologize for that. Y'all know I appreciate all the support that y'all come with. Yeah, I be coming through. Appreciate everybody. Golden Child in the building. What's going on? Chief Rocka just came through with a 10-piece. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate all you good brothers and sisters that come through and support the show. Shout out to Dane Christopher in the building, posting the links. RBR Network in the building. Just got deleted for no reason by January, man. I like having my little tablet right here in front of me. I might get a bigger one. The game plan was to get a big ass 60-inch monitor, but just having a tablet right here in your face definitely supplements that. I still may do a 2-monitor setup at some point. Shout out to New, who was definitely hitting me with cash apps, encouraging me to get the 60-inch monitor. It may be in the future, but I found a very easy, more efficient, more conducive to the layout of the whole room. Because I don't know what I would have to do. I have to move my light. Just got a light right there and a light right there. I have to move those, bring that up, set that right there, and then I'll be trapped and not able to get out. I don't know. Anyway, that's not y'all business. That's not y'all business. But shout out to everybody who's been supporting the show. I appreciate all your brothers. Let me see what RBR Network got timed out for. What did he do? You MGTOW fools are destroying the black community. Stop believing racists who hate you because you're black. I agree, RBR. I agree, RBR. God damn it. You tell them. You tell them. Tell them the truth. All right. Yeah, this tablet was a brilliant idea. I can moderate the chat quicker, easier, delete stuff, give it the wrenches and take it away, all kind of shit. Right here with the tablet. All right. Back at it. Back at it. Suburban home and stay-at-home lifestyle. Black women are demanding in order for them to give up their nice, cozy call center jobs. Pencil pushing, paper stapling, email sending, shooting spitballs at the ceiling while leaning back in a chair job that has afforded them the ability to go WGTOW, but he's writing an article here complaining about MGTOW. In addition, mass immigration in Latin America has displaced many black men who would usually work traditional blue collar fields like construction and skilled trades. So if you're going to put that in the article, I wonder, are you voting for these black women who you are caping for? And by voting for them, I mean not voting Republican. That's going to ensure that there will be more black men displaced. You can't complain about the displacement of black men through immigration. You can't bring that up as a factor, and black women can't complain about that. But then vote Democrat to ensure that displacement that they're complaining about, that you're complaining about in this article, is going to happen. So you are saying we need to vote Republican, right? Just a thought. Just a thought. Furthermore, mass immigration from India and elsewhere has blocked out many college-educated black men from lucrative. I don't know about that one, but I mean, that gets out of my peer view. But I mean, I tend to believe a man with an education in, as he says, science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM-oriented industries. Nonetheless, I do believe black men who get in those fields tend to do well, even if they're not even if they don't happen to be the individual who's completely killing it and knocking it out of the park, is still going to be competitive. Even when you get in those fields, you get the degree in STEM, you still have to roll up your sleeves and compete. But I don't think that type of immigration is, I don't know if that's knocking black men out of the park anyway. But you're talking about those STEM degrees, engineers, or people that make over six figures. Yeah, those people are great. But the fact of the matter is, all the other men that you, I suppose you're saying, that are so more economically attractive compared to black men, the bulk of them aren't knocking it out the park. Only a small percentage either way. But that's a whole nother thing. Nonetheless, the responsibility of traditional patriarchy are still required for black men. But he's saying that black men he says black men. He said those immigrants coming in. I think the what is it called? I'm about to botch the H-1B visas. I got that article up there, but I got it so low that y'all can't even see it. Y'all just taking my word. Let me make that bigger. I could have just said anything. Furthermore, mass immigration from India and elsewhere has blocked out many college-educated black men from lucrative careers in science, technology, engineering, math-oriented industries. Nonetheless, the responsibility of traditional patriarchy is still required for black men to assert their manhood within the home as well as outside the home of the greater society. MGTOW won't save failing black men from the burden of male performance. If black men fail to live up to the dictates of traditional masculinity, they cannot expect to enjoy the spoils of traditional masculinity. Again, that's Kim Foster for Harriet, her YouTube channel. Okay. That statement could easily be flipped around and said, if men fail, and that's why if a man fails to meet the standard of traditional masculinity, he cannot expect the spoils of traditional masculinity. But if you define traditional masculinity as being the sole working person in the house, paying 100% of the bills and doing it without any sacrifice, And by sacrifice, I mean, you're living in the type of house you want to live in the neighborhood you want to live in, where the kids are going to the schools they want to live in, and you're all living in the cars you want to drive. If that's what you call traditional masculinity, then you're setting the bar of somebody meeting traditional masculinity so high that most white men don't meet traditional masculinity. So the phrase, if black men expect to reap the spoils of traditional masculinity, they need to, let me make sure I get your quote just right. Let me make sure I get the quote just right. If black men fail to live up to the dictates of traditional masculinity, they cannot expect to enjoy the spoils of traditional masculinity. You basically just can change that to, if a man fails to live up to the dictates of traditional masculinity, they cannot expect to enjoy the spoils of traditional masculinity. But you've defined traditional masculinity in a way to where probably only barely 10% of white men even live up to that. Barely 10% of white men live up to that. So if you define it so high, which is okay, you can define it that high. But if you do that, if you define it that high to where barely 10% of white men live up to that and barely 5% of black men live up to that, you can't then put the onus, blame men for going their own way, because these are able-bodied working men, white and black, who don't meet that standard that you laid out. So is it the men going their own way, or is it women going their own way? Who's going their own way here? The person who's working a job that he has the aptitude for, that he's qualified for, it may not be a $150,000 a year job. Okay, fine. May not be a $100,000 a year job. Okay, fine. But if he will still be with a woman in a traditional relationship with the job that he has, and he's getting a job, and he's willing to be with a woman that lines up with the amount of money that he makes, but the woman is saying, I'm not willing to be in a traditional relationship unless this man makes money that outshines that puts him in a top 5 or top 10% category, even though she ain't top 5 or 10%. Who's going wig towel? Who's that? That is the fallacy that you're going to see come back and over again in this. It's not men going MGTOW, it's women going WGTOW. That's what's happening. They went WGTOW. When they had that perfect wet dream that they all allegedly want, where where they were at home and men were working, when women by and large, for the most part, had that. Society was set up really in a way to where that's how it was. Men worked and women stayed home. A whole generation of women went WGTOW with the feminist movement. So they walked away from it when they had it. But you're telling black men, dance, nigga, dance, tap dance to get it, to make women. Okay. I do believe a man should work hard, accomplish as much as he can. I do believe that a man, in a marriage, you got a family, you got kids, you got responsibilities. Yes, it is the job of the man to make sure that the ship does not sink. But when women are by and large saying that ship need to have some shiny chrome spinning rims on it in order for them to act normal, yeah, that makes a difference. Lord Commander in the building with a super chat. Appreciate you very much. He says the price of submission has experienced inflation with everything else. Grandpa got submission with a local factory job. You need to make 150K. Yeah. Shout out to Silent Lamont. He says you had a ugly fat five talking about she would not accept a plumber who makes 60 to 70K a year. These people are insane. Well, don't forget 41. I think she was 41 or 42, something like that. Keep in mind, I'm not saying this as a MGTOW. I'm just sitting here, just reading, just giving an analysis. It's like they never just stopped to just ask, what does the average man of another race make? They never stopped to ask that. And this is how you know my analysis is correct when I say what they actually expecting from a man, because he brings up Kevin Samuels. He says, YouTube influencer Kevin Samuels has constantly stated in many of his videos discussing the high value man. Let me make sure that y'all are seeing. See, y'all not seeing shit. Hold on. Hold up. There we go. Hold up. Wait. As constantly stated in many videos discussing the high value man, that for men to elevate themselves within American society as well as in the eyes of women, they must take on and overcome the burden of male performance. I agree with that. The only difference is I believe a construction worker is meeting the burden of male performance. And this is of particular importance in regards to Black men in America as well as globally. Google Hangout link still sitting there on my email. I don't even know how to get rid of that. The world has changed drastically for millennial Black men. There are not millions of high-income factory jobs that pay a livable wage. No, they do pay a livable wage, but if you're going to have a family with that wage, you can't live in LA, and there will be some sacrifice if your wife doesn't work. I literally lived that lifestyle before. When she was working, we was doing better financially. When she wasn't working, okay, we had to make a few sacrifices, but we got by. We made it. And now if the modern day woman is saying that, nope, that's not enough, I'll rather make my own 40, 50K. I'll rather make my own 40, 50, 60K and have freedom and independence. Okay, fine. Who's going their own way? That's the question on the table. Who's really going their own way? Factory jobs to pay a livable wage to a high school graduate to support a wife and children, as was the case. And that's also, well, hold on, I'm going to get back to that. As was the case in their grandfathers and great-grandfathers' generation that moved to the north and to the west during the Great Migration to secure a union wage. Blue-collar careers throughout the Rust Belt and on the West Coast. And let's keep one thing in mind. Even when a woman is working, the man is typically working more. Is typically working more hours. He's typically going to pay more of the bills. And because he's working more hours and not home as much, she's typically going to do more of the household duties. That's typically how normal, average, rational thinking, middle of the road people do it. And if the woman wants the house to be functional, she's probably not going to constantly be pushing back and fighting and arguing with the man at every turn. Thus, that word submission is still possible with two people working. Now, if he's sitting there on some 50-50 shit to the point of where the rent $1,000, I got my half of the rent, you got yours. Well, I got my 5 sitting here, so yeah, just give me your 5 when you get it. And then a month go by, she ain't gave his 5. The rent just ain't getting paid, and she come up with her half. Like, if a nigga on some shit like that, then okay. But if it's taking 2 people working, then it's just taking 2 people working. And it normally works out where the man end up still paying the majority of the bills and making the majority of the sacrifice in that regard. Lord Commander back at it again with another super chat. He said, there's a phrase about the stock market. The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. The price of women is a bubble. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. So now the cost of submission is 4 times the amount of the average American salary. Yeah. Yeah, somebody brought up child support. You got to factor that into their equation. Yeah. Whatever they make, tack on some child support. That's an interesting factor that, I don't average into the equation in these discussions, but yeah, I hear you. Furthermore, illegal immigration from Mexico and other parts Furthermore, immigration from Mexico and other parts of Latin America has displaced large swaths of blue-collar black men in the building trades. He said this already. I don't know why he's saying it again. Additionally, mass immigration from India via abuse of H-1B employment visa program has prevented entry to many high-paying technology jobs that would have normally been secured by degreed Black American men. Black men must assert themselves in the labor market and business arena to gain respect. Yes, I agree with that statement by itself. Underperforming in the current labor market and business area is not the way for Black men to gain respect of Black women in a larger American society, nor will the ability to copiously cite the social ramifications of the 1960s Moynihan Report or Kerner Commission advisory, or eloquently discuss the impact of Reaganomics in the 1980s or the crack epidemic of the 1990s. Okay, now he's getting into a point where now I'm like, okay, who are you talking to? Are you talking to MGTOWs? Because those who talk about the crack era in all those epidemics, the 80s, the 90s, and all of that, and those are your pro-blacks who are anything but MGTOW. Now, in this space, when Black men are analyzing what went wrong in Black America, yeah, they'll bring up the Moynihan Report as a way of doing it. They'll bring up the Great Society Act and all of that, Lyndon Baines Johnson, welfare, the second wave of feminism, all of those things where women went MGTOW. All those things will get brought up is where women went MGTOW, and we can see the results of what happens when women go MGTOW. Yeah, that will get brought up. The spin move and the fuckery that he splashed in there is that he tried to make it seem like it's underperforming men who are given a clear, precise analysis of where it went wrong culturally among Black people. I don't hear underperforming men talking about that. I don't hear the underperforming men talking that much. Maybe it's some in the chat, but most of the men who get up on my panels are productive men, many of them business owners. Most of the content creators are productive men, many of them business owners of some sort. Like, so I'm not here. The men who are analyzing and breaking down what went wrong, where it went wrong, and why it's still going wrong. They're not doing that as a way of making an excuse for their lack of performance. And when they tend to do that, they tend to get shot down by us. We don't play that excuse making shit. Not a lot of excuses that fly over here. Now we could talk about it, we can analyze it, we can speak to what happened, when, why, where, and all of that. But as far as men just being on some excuse making, I'm not performing because of A, B, C, and D, or I got this, or the white man holding me down. We make jokes about that. The white man holding me back thing. That's a joke. That's a tagline in this space. The white man got his foot on his neck. That's a punchline. We about no excuse making and performance. So that's what he's going to be trying to do for a lot more of this article, trying to basically say those who give analysis of Black America are just making excuses for their lack of performance. I could be performing just fine, but I can see the results of what happened after the second wave of feminism, coupled with welfare, coupled with abortion and birth control pills. Shout out to ARC and the Beta Male Revolution. I can see the end results of what happened with society, how women, ultimately ended up raising kids by themselves. I could see what happened when fathers were not picking the husband for their daughter. I could see the results of that. I could see when women got their freedom and burned their bras and made their own choices and went to fuck who they want when they want and got the outcomes. And then after those outcomes came the 80s. After everything that was going wrong in the 60s, 70s, came that generation of men in the 80s, the boys that became men in the 80s, who was out there doing all the banging, slanging, and all of that. Then that ultimately led to, the super predators who were mass incarcerated. I could look at that and analyze all of that, but don't got shit to do with my performance today. Nothing to do with it. But I can look back and see why a culture got fucked up. But I'm not going to, that's no excuse as to why I'm not performing it. And I'm not going to let that be an excuse to why any other individual isn't performing today. Ugh, sorry, hold on, let me push stop real quick. So yeah. Ugh. Got something in my mouth. Goddamn. Something. Okay, I got it. Something was on my lip. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. But yeah, so it sounds like he's getting in the realm of talking about, pro-blacks who complain about racism as the reason why black men or black people are behind and not performing. And so if you're talking about them, you're not talking about men that went MGTOW. You're talking about men who are either literally saying the black woman is God, or at least in cahoots and has similar talking points to those people that say the black woman is God. That's not MGTOW. So now it's turning into a thing like, who the hell are you talking to or talking about right now? Because you're not talking about MGTOW. All right, where are we at? All right, or the Moynihan report, Kerner Commission advisory, or eloquently discuss the impact of Reaganomics in the 1980s or the crack era. Yeah, we ain't with them niggas. crack epidemic in the 1990s. The way for black men to gain respect of black women, because that's all we want. We just want black women to respect us. Okay. The way for black men to gain the respect of black women and the larger American society is by overcoming the burden of male performance by achieving substantially more in terms of education, financial resources, and socioeconomic status. We got to get more education, like black women. Who's the most educated? By one little small factor. I jokingly say that about the most educated. I think I've broken that down enough that you can just literally look at the data and see that Asian men, Asian women, white men all have more bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, in every way that matters. All of those groups are significantly more educated than black women. And when you're just looking at bachelor's degrees, black women are at about, I'm going to pull up some links after this and show some things that we've shown before, but like they shout out to David Carroll, you know, when he says he don't mind repeating himself. I don't mind repeating myself. That's ultimately, not that I consider myself some great teacher, but you know, if you're teaching, if you're talking about something, you're going to have to say it over and over again. Teachers teach the same lesson over and over again. But not that I'm considering myself some great teacher, but there are some men in the Black Manosphere who I do consider to have that kind of knowledge, where they are, I do consider them to be teachers. I do feel like I'm in a classroom listening to some of the great minds in this space. By overcoming the burden of male performance, by achieving more in terms of education, financial resource, and socioeconomic status, and afterwards using the economic power to gain and maintain political power to achieve. Such will take true grit and resourcefulness to overcome whatever challenges are before black men. Okay, what he's saying there, I don't got that much of a problem with, but he went from talking interpersonal relationships to now he's off in collective land. And collective land isn't a bad place to be if you're talking about just the overall of black men doing better and then using that overall doing trumpet trooper, whoever the hell that is. No, that's not Bernard's woman. I thought that was a guy. I almost blocked or deleted it because I see hearts and kisses. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell that was going on there. But Naima said, trumpet trooper, I hope you're Bernard's woman. No. I have no idea who the hell trumpet trooper is, and I thought it was a dude. So I'm already finger on the trigger. The fuckery is when they go from talking about interpersonal relationships and then they try to move it out to collective land. And collective land, yes, there are things that collectively needs to be done. Shout out to Ice Cube with the contract with Black America and all of that stuff. You know, there are things that need to get done. But even if all those things got done, does that mean that the average black man makes enough as laid out by this article and the article that was linked in the YouTube video that was linked? That means that most men make enough to comfortably, effectively, efficiently pay 100% of the bills without any sacrifice. And by sacrifice, I mean the house you want to live in, the neighborhood you want to live in, the school you want your kids to go to, the cars you want to drive, to this or that, because that's how they more or less defined it or laid it out. He referred to Kevin Samuels and the high value man and all of that. And basically we hear it right there, plain and clear, that he makes it clear that, hey, this is what black women want. Ray Alexander said it earlier in the article. This is what black women want. This is basically the cost of submission. And when you tally up all the costs for that, even in a lower income area, we still talking either $120,000 to $150,000 a year. That's what we're talking about. Even in a place with low cost of living. So let's run the numbers on that, as I always do. We run the numbers on that. Black men achieve all that political, economic, everything that we're told that black men need to do, everything that he laid out when he talked about what black men need to gain more education, financial resource, socioeconomic status, and all of those things, and convert all of that into political power and do all of this and all of that. And then you assume, and if we get right to the level where white men are in this country, what would that ultimately mean? That will mean, as I have always very eloquently pointed out, that it would mean that, yes, in a capitalist country, that, yes, there will be black men at the top who will be filthy, stinking rich, just like there's white men at the top that will be filthy, stinking rich. The labor force participation rate of black men will go up. And where's the labor force participation rate for black men at pre-corona? At something around 69%. Where's it at for white men? 72%, 3% difference. Okay, so there'd be a 3% bump there. And average black man at about 40,000, average white man at about 50,000. So maybe a $10,000 bump up. I think roughly 10% of white men make $100,000, even if we put the benchmark there. Okay. About 4% of black men make 100,000. Okay. Even if we put it there, even if we put the benchmark there, and let's say that 4 bumps up to 10. Even by the own standard and estimation of what he would qualify of a black man being economically attractive and suitable for what a black woman wants for her to not give up, as he said, her cozy office job and her independence. Even if black men did everything that this article is saying black men need to do, still only roughly 10% of black men would be viable, which means they would have the same problem. And then link that with his previous article that BGS did a ramble response to, where it laid out quite clear and quite obvious that black women, their expectation was actually double of what other women want. When they had to put in, the amount of money they prefer a man to make, the amount of education he must have, the amount of this he must have, and all of that, when all of that was laid out, however it was laid out, it ended up being they wanted double. So even if black men pinned the tail right on the donkey that he's saying that they need to pin it on in this article, it would still be mathematically, statistically the same exact problem for the vast majority of black women. It's like we have this mind fuck where we honestly believe that wealth, resources in a capitalist society, as if it's evenly distributed amongst people. No. So when you start out talking about interpersonal relationships, if black men as a collective did every little thing that he's saying in this article, did every little thing that he's saying that they need to do in this article, the average black woman who's with an average guy who's working an average job at a factory, guess what? She'll still be with that same average guy. And he may just make a little bit more money. He may go from making $750 a week to $850 a week, assuming that it plays out like that if black men did own more industries. Now, black men need to own more industries. We do need to hire more black men and need to pay black men more after we hire them. That is true. That is true. But that $10,000 raise is not going to make a black woman who, according to you, you feel like her cozy office job gives her independence and freedom that she don't want to give up for a man that she qualifies for, and she will only give it up for the man that she don't qualify for, that she can't get. Who's going their own way here? That's the flaw in this article, where you're criticizing MGTOW, saying MGTOW won't save black men. No, you should be asking, has WGTOW, women going their own way, has it saved black women? The answer is no, but they do have all their delusions, and a lot of women that put together articles similar to this one, and they have men who fuel their delusions or put gasoline on their delusions. Male Enlightenment TV in the building. He says this article actually makes sense from a government, societal, and woman's perspective, because they're all interrelated. I'm like, I barely. Okay, here we go. Getting at the point where my vision is getting blurred. I need glasses, but I'm holding out. I don't want glasses. And I don't want to be putting contacts in either. That seems crazy. Just actually touching your eyeball. That's some crazy shit. They're all interrelated. I will jump on and explain. Right on. Definitely want you up here. BR, can you post a link to the article? The article was by Ray Alexander, and it was titled, I don't got the link because he sent it to me in the form of an email. So there's that. And he didn't post an exact separate link to the article in here, but it's called Why MGTOW Won't Save Black Men. So I will communicate with him and say, hey, you got to post a link to the article from now on when you do that, because my audience do want to actually read the article for themselves without my commentary, which I respect. It lets me know that you do want to dig in on it and get your own take and own perspective, and not just have mine. But shout out to Mel Enlightenment TV and Osama Abdu for coming through on the super chat end. Appreciate that. And hopefully when I was dropping the link to ME's Mel Enlightenment TV's book, hopefully some of y'all went on by there and checked it out. I once saw a black woman fatter than Barney throw a wedding for herself only, and wore a dress that made her look like Barney. She wore a purple dress to a wedding for herself. That's about fitting. That's about fitting. A purple Barney dress for a wedding by herself. Yeah. I can't say that don't make sense. All right. He said, black men have risen to the top of the sports world as a result of focus, determination, and grit, and genetics. By the way, don't forget genetics. That has Black Wolf Inc. You said that's that. I don't know where that came from, but when Kuda played that that little clip, that not clip, but a little sound effect, a little button he push, and some voiceover come back in like, that's a huge bitch. That's a huge bitch. That should be funny, man. Oh man, that should be the funniest. That's a huge bitch. The black man has risen to the top of the sports world to focus, determination, grit. Don't forget genetics. even when they were born in poor circumstances, born in poor circumstances doesn't stop you from being 6'8" and able to run like a horse and jump out of gym. This type of grit must be shown. I do agree with this statement here, though. This type of grit must be shown um, by black men in the world of academic, business, and politics. I do agree with that, but we can't discount the genetics when it comes to sports. Can't discount that. A lot of people like to do that. I don't. Hey, there's Ray Alexander's email right there on the screen, if y'all can see that. ray.alex25@gmail.com. You can definitely email him for the article. I'm sure he'll be happy to send it to you. The man who feels inadequate at manhood, male power, and male privilege feels bad because of the way he fails his family and society. Men in our culture are especially vulnerable to feelings of inadequacy, especially prone to misinterpret them as punishment. Okay, so that's okay. Maybe some guy somewhere who is stupid enough to well, okay. It sounds like now he's not really talking about the MGTOWs. He's talking about the excuse making no account Negroes who don't perform well. He's taken that and he's calling it MGTOW. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with the tenets of MGTOW, I do think it's wrong to just say the no account non-performing guys are the MGTOWs. Every MGTOW that I've really heard speak is a performing guy who does who's doing either doing well or doing okay for himself. Now then there's the chat room element of it, to where there are some failing, not successful stay-at-home sons who found a convenient mantra or place to hide behind MGTOW. That is a factor in the equation. That there are some non-performing guys who are, the chat room, nameless, faceless guys who just found somewhere to hide. I can use this to spray deodorant over my non-performance. That there are men to do that, but to just take that and call that MGTOW, because most of the non-performing guys are just some non-performing guys somewhere not performing. Like, you can't just take that and call it MGTOW. That's building a straw man. A lot of men get married. A lot of men. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that. Some people come to MGTOW for different reasons. I'll just say that. I'll say that. He said they're prone to misinterpret their inadequacy as punishment to be avoided rather than motivation to change. So you're talking about men who are just failing. You're not talking about MGTOW. Ironically, the deficient man is likely to blame his sense of failure and feelings of inadequacy it stimulates on the women he actually desires, wants to love, protect, and provide for. So now he's trying to charge up everybody who has a critique of women. I believe that's what's going on here. Everybody who has a critique of women, he's charging them up with being inadequate and just blaming it on women. That's where the fuckery and the BS comes in, because nobody would say that Kevin Samuels is an inadequate man, but he has, I feel, he has a harsher critique of women than me, than a lot of people in this space. So there's that. Inadequacy, being inadequate does not equate to critiquing women or critiquing women or analyzing society and the social dynamics between women, or in this case, black men and black women, and looking at the major factors that black women play in it that have been overlooked for decades. Doing that does not equate to male inadequacy and blaming women for your personal problems. That's the fuckery that they try to charge up the black manosphere with that. And normally people who, under the guise of just trying to hold men accountable, that's really all they're really doing. They're just really trying to clap back against black manosphere talking points as a strategic content strategy. Is not really holding men accountable, but it is a factor that they try to equate the act of doing that with holding men accountable, and they try to equate the guy who gives a in my estimation an accurate social commentary and critique of these things as a guy just being inadequate, complaining about his personal problems. Instead of self-improvement, these failing men lash out against women and the general society. So I don't know who he's talking about lashing out at general society. It sounds like he's, this is where it gets kind of vague, and I have to kind of somewhat interpret what's going on here. Damn, GA Boy said, get the laser surgery, Bernard. My wife and best friend got it, and they good. Well, I don't need glasses that much. Even when I take an eye test, I'm good. And they say, you probably will need glasses a little later. But, it is a slight problem here, a slight difference here. You fell off this little small amount, but you're technically fine. The only thing is, if I'm looking, so it affects me in the sense that when I'm driving, I see it. I noticed that when I used to could be like damn near Superman and read the sign from all the way far back. Now I got to get a little closer to read the sign. So I do notice that. And I also notice that if I'm staring at a screen all day, it start getting blurry after a while. And that used to never happen. So there's that. I don't just need glasses, but I mean, hell, if this is what I'm doing here is going to be a full-time career, then yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I do tend to look at a screen all day now. And when I had a job before, when I looked at a screen all day, it wasn't a problem. But now it's become a problem. So I just fell off a little bit, but just overall in my day-to-day, I don't need glasses. That's when I will get them. When I get to the point where I need glasses in just my day-to-day, that's when I will get them. Obsidian says, get some blue light readers. You can cop some for cheap from Foster Grant or Peepers. I have no idea what that is or what you're talking about. I've never had to even give thought to glasses until I started doing this in front of a monitor, a big ass monitor where I'm reading, I'm staring at the monitor all day, and it's having a little effect on my eyes. I knew said Bernard's eyes when egg towel eyes going their own way. Oh man. But no, I'm good. It happens. It occasionally happens where things just might get a little. I just got to blink and shake it off. But that's normally when I'm doing a longer stream with a lot of reading. But in my day to day, no effects, no effects. However, by developing new habits, okay, what did he say about self-improvement? Yeah, this is the weird part where he said these failing men lash out against women. I feel like he's talking about the murderous incels or men who get violent against women and blaming it on their failing, so they lash out against women in general society. Sounds like he's talking about the Elliot Rodgers types right there that demands, which no black people fall in that category, at least I don't think. That demands and expects them to be responsible and productive because they feel they can't or simply don't know how to improve themselves. However, by developing new habits of connecting by protecting, these men will realize that they can feel more valuable and powerful and so big and strong and eat their vegetables. All right. Men must be competent in their roles to feel good about themselves. Look at the happy black family. Oh, the cute little baby. All right. Manhood, manpower. I'm almost done. Manhood, manpower, and male privilege. Men are socialized to experience any value by just being there for their well, men aren't socialized to experience any value by just being there for their partners. They need to solve problems. Men are taught from a young age that they have to be strong, to have it together, to be competent. And when men feel like they can solve problems, those feelings of incompetence leave them in a place where they don't feel like men. They feel incompetent. They feel like failures. Failing men blame everyone else for their problems. Ray Alexander in the building says, "Thanks for discussing this topic, BR." Yeah, I've been this whole conversation. I've basically had Negan's baseball bat swinging it at your kneecaps the whole show. So, but I don't know if that would change how you feel about that super chat. I've been swinging Negan's baseball bat at your knees the whole show. Well, yeah, we gotta do a one-on-one. We gotta chop it up. We need to talk. But no, thanks for sending me the articles. I do like when you send me the articles, even though I tend to disagree with them. I do like that you send me the articles. So respect and shout out to you. Failing men blame everyone else for their problems. Something that we in this space talk about all the time, not blaming other people for your problems and taking personal accountability and responsibility. We bootstrap niggas over here. So I don't know exactly who you're talking about, and I don't see that when I talk to MGTOW. Shout out to Zero. Shout out to Ohini Mora at from Male Enlightenment TV. I'm not hearing failing guys. I'm not hearing failing men. You know, so I don't know who exactly is he talking about here. I don't know how that gets linked in as MGTOW, especially with the many different definitions of MGTOW, where you can be MGTOW and take care of yourself and still deal with women, have sex with women, have casual sexual relationships with women, but have your own money, your own job, your own place, and live by yourself. Essentially be strong and independent, like somebody who you excused earlier in the show by saying that they are justified in staying in their little cozy office jobs and making their little cozy office job money, which we know ain't that much. And they're justified in going wigtail. So when you justify women going wigtail, but write an article saying men are wrong for going MGTOW or their lack of performance is the reason that they're going MGTOW, then you have to acknowledge that women's lack of wanting to perform or meet the modern day demands of what would be a traditional relationship is also them going wigtail because they want to do it, but do it without sacrifice because he has to make the amount of money that only the top 10 at the least, but 5 at the most. Only the top 10 to 5% of men make. So where even if black men did everything that you said they needed to do in this article, 90% of them still would not qualify. Thus, 90% of women would be justified in keeping their independence in their cozy office job. So that circle right there puts the nail in the coffin for every point that you tried to make in this article. So I don't know if you just got here. I just wanted to recap real fast so you know what I meant by swinging Negan's baseball bat at your knees. So there's that. G.A. Boy says Kevin Samuels is get out of there. Says Kevin Samuels, I mean not get out of it. Says Kevin Samuels is doing this for money, not to better his Kevin Samuels is doing this for money, not to better his personal life. It's a market for going in on the opposite sex on both sides. I don't know what you mean by doing it for money, but not to better your life, but money would better your life. So yes, he's obviously doing it for money because he get paid for what he's doing. But the only question is, do he actually believe in what he's saying? Which I believe he do. Therefore, if you're getting paid money to say some stuff that you believe in, that you would say anyway, that at least were your thoughts, that you were okay having those thoughts for free, you might as well get paid to say it. So in that sense, no, he's not doing anything wrong. But yeah, it is a market for going in on the opposite sex. Oh, don't we know as black men that there's a market for going in on the opposite sex? Because we've seen the market that goes in on us. Shame on us for creating a market doing the same thing. Shame on us. Shout out to GA Boy though. Shout out to GA Boy. Blames against failing men status as victims. We don't believe that men are victims. I even talked about how on my last stream when it said no agency equals no accountability. I talked about how Obama addressed the talking to black people, and he was able to pin the tail right on the donkey when explaining what we need to teach our sons, not to do this, not to do that. Teach them that that being able to make a baby don't make you a man, is what you do. You're raising it. Fatherhood doesn't end after conception. Blah blah blah. A bunch of other things, and treat women with respect and blah blah blah. This or that. Then when it came time for them to address women, and we need to teach our daughters that the images on TV don't define them. The president of the United States, the first black president of the United States, when speaking to black people, and when the president is speaking to anybody, he's speaking to the world. So the president speaking to the world through speaking to us / the world, gave black women victim status, but told it like it is, shot it straight down the center of the plate, like David Carroll says when it comes to addressing black men. So I think we know which side of the aisle here gets the victim status, the double victim status. It ain't black men. We pay harsh penalties for our failures. Literal penalties, socially, in every way. we pay the penalty for our failures. So there's that. But a victim, this is the end of it right here. But a victim identity won't help black men in a highly competitive and rapidly changing global economy. Whatever was that? Changing economy, artificial intelligence, and fourth industrial revolution. Shout out to the Black Brain Trust are upon us. Complaining, justifying, or mansplaining. You did a lot of womansplaining in this article, bro. Or mansplaining, marginality, and mediocrity won't help black men. I do agree that it is about performance. It is about us performing, but the whole article in the circular way that you tried to warp it all together to make a point, I don't think you hit the mark. But overall, the general point of making excuses for lack of performance will not work, does not get it, does not fly over here. Black men as a group do have to do better, do have to perform better, but your premises and everything that you laid out was wrong. Black men become the best men they are capable of becoming. Black men will have to find ways to, and by the way, what he just said right there was, again, start talking about that. Anybody who gives a social commentary that goes against a certain narrative or is for a certain narrative, that's their inadequacy. They're trying to cover up. They're trying to fight against their own. They're trying to supplement their own inadequacy in some type of way. Step up their game and rise to the occasion. Remember when that chick said that? I don't know. I think it was on Fox News. There was a white woman there, a black woman there, and the white woman was saying that yes, women do need to take a step back and be more like women, and blah 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 blah. She basically just laid out all the talking points about how they need to essentially be more like women. And then the black woman said, no, because women are better now. We work now and we make money and we're this and we're all the way up here. So men need to rise to the occasion. But by rise to the occasion, to make enough money to be able to financially support them in a way that will cause them to conduct themselves in a way that's conducive to a happy, functional, and or traditional relationship, he has to make enough money to where he's economically attractive and then replace her money on top of that. That's where I got the you basically saying a man needs to make $150,000 in order to rise to that occasion, which you're basically saying that only 4 to 5% of men in the United States meet the mark or hit the standard or whatever. If that's mansplaining, then goddamn it, I'm going to mansplain all day. If that's mansplaining. Rising to the occasion of masculinity, I think a construction worker is rising to the occasion of masculinity. He's doing a hard physical job. He's making a good, honest, productive, livable living. Now, if that's not enough money to put a woman in a suburban neighborhood, like you referenced on the beginning of the article, if that's not enough to put her in the suburbs, in the house she wants to live in, and so as a result of that, because he can't put her in the house in the suburbs, the house she wants to live in the suburbs, so because of that, she, as you said, is going to be essentially justified in keeping her cozy office job in her independence. Then again, I have to ask the question, who really went their own way? And that's where I'm going to close it out at, right there. That's where I'm going to close this bad boy out at. MGTOW won't save black men, is what he's saying there. But I think that should be changed to WGTOW has not saved black women because they went WGTOW. Black men have responded. And we are almost 2 hours right on the nose in here. The link is in the chat. And you good folks can come on up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The great Naima Buckner, who's not in need of the products that Darth Slothius said that she needed funding for. Just want to be clear, she's not in need of those products. Said, what's wrong with being a stay-at-home mom to take care of the family? You're probably responding to something in the chat. I say nothing is wrong with that. But I do point out that it does come with sacrifice, unless you're that woman that qualifies for some, $150,000, $200,000 dude. But if you're a woman who qualifies for just a regular dude who's making, regular or above average money, then yeah, it will come with some sacrifice. But sacrifice for the better, greater good. Sacrifice for better outcomes in children, better outcomes of the family, which means better outcomes in the people that you create in the community, which means a better outcome for the community, which means a better outcome for black people, which means a better outcome for all the shit that he said black men need to do. That wasn't me going off on you, Naima. You cool. I was going off on Ray. You cool. But no, nothing wrong with a woman staying at home. Nothing wrong with it at all. All right, who we got here? We got Judge Zila.
Mr. Riley.
Yeah. Obsidian Ali. And Silent Lamont. All right, I'm gonna bring chaos up, even though when you talk, it be sounding like somebody wiggling the ether table. That's not my joke. That's somebody else's joke. I can't take credit for that, but it was funny as hell.
Mr. Riley.
Hey, Bernard. Okay. Can I request respectfully to go first? I'm gonna just be like a minute or so, and then I'm gonna hop off here.
All right, go ahead. You got it. You got it.
First, really quickly, I just wanted to answer Nama's question. The question in itself is presented innocent, okay? But not saying that you're presenting fuckery, but that's not what most women are talking about. They're talking about it like stay-at-home mothers, but that's not what they mean. What they really mean is they just want to be, they just want to lick. They just want to hit a lick. They want to be basketball wives. This has nothing to do with families and more to do with they just want to spend a nigga's money and not have to work. It doesn't have anything to do about the family. She just wants a nigga to buy her a car because she's seen it on Instagram. Like, it's social media shit. This has not, when they're not talking about families.
So self-gratification they're seeking, Lamont?
Yeah. When you hear these women calling Kevin Samuels show, these 40-year-old women, they don't care about families. They're looking for a retirement plan, and it's bloody obvious. I mean, it's not like Silent hasn't told you before the Kevin Samuels show even started. You have a bunch of adjustable 2s and 3s who throw on makeup, right? Like we were talking about the 40-year-old chick last night, a nanny who gonna reject a 60, 70, 80,000 euro a year plumber looking down on him when she ain't shit.
Yeah.
Where's that imbalance? It's simply you're looking for a rich lick, which is an anomaly anyway, because I mean, most people are just regular. We're positioning that being a normal, regular person is somehow being you ain't shit. I mean, the average American salary is $40,000 a year. If the cost of submission is 4 times the amount of the average American salary, then you're not talking about people who care about families. You're talking about people who are trying to rob you.
Oh, damn. Ooh.
All right. Silent dropping fire as usual. And as usual, will come up and say sometimes he can do it in 10 seconds, but this time took him about 2-3 minutes to say things that a lot of people take a whole hour to say. So shout out to Silent for that. Osama Abdul, first time on
and
the
peace
panel.
Be unto you, my brothers.
Oh yeah, peace be unto you, man. Peace be unto you. But yeah, see Osama Abdul, I'm gonna get to you in a second, but glad you're finally hopping up on the panel. Been a subscriber and supporter for a while here, so I'm glad you're finally hopping up on the panel. That's cool. But we're gonna go to Judge Zilla. What's going on?
Thank you for having me here. Mr. Riley, why continue to fight? Why continue to cajole? Why continue to oppose the agenda set before you? Just submit. Just submit. Become the servant that you are meant to be. Just serve. If you can't afford to have the woman of your choice, pool your money with those like yourselves to support a single woman. Four $40,000 a year earners can definitely support one deserving woman. Do what is necessary. Do what is incumbent upon you. Do not look at them as if they are delusional. They are not delusional. They are desirous. Don't fight. Embrace your submission. This brave, brave, brave new world that is in front of you of the last 30, 40 odd years. Just submit. Present your monies to your queens so that they may live a life of mimosas and Birkin bags.
And don't forget, hey, what do you call that? That douchebag you talking about?
Chaos. Hold on a second. All right, thanks, Judge Osama. I don't know what's going on. I gotta mute you. You lagging bad. I don't know if you. I don't think you're driving. It looked like you parked, but yeah, something was going on. Just hold on. I'm gonna do a mic check. Try to say something. We'll do a mic check. We're on you before we go to Obsidian. Say something. Osama, are you there?
Hello, Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. But yeah, it's a slow lag. Something I don't know.
First time on, so let me know when it's my turn.
Yeah, you sound like you're far away. It sounds muffled. It's a bad lag. You probably would need to be at home in your Wi-Fi. You probably would need to be at home in your Wi-Fi. Some people it don't work.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, sound a little better right now. Yeah, briefly, go ahead and say something real quick. We struggled through it because I'm glad you finally hopped on. So, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Absolutely, brother. Okay, this is my first time on here. Right now, I'm hearing Judge Zilla talk. So, is there something wrong with my connection?
Yeah, if you're hearing Judge Zilla talk, then you behind on the stream and something is wrong. So, man, you probably your first time hopping on. Try to do it at home in your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's it's. Some people can't do it by cell phone.
Yeah, because you're mumbling. It's not, the quality sounds very distorted.
Yeah, that was sounding bad. Hopefully he could hopefully he can come up. He's been a supporter for a while. I do want him to been told me he was gonna hop on the panel for a while now, but he finally did it. So hopefully it can work out. But yeah, you can't really hear him. If he said he was hearing Judge when I was talking, then yeah, it's over. So well, all right, thanks Judge for your plea for us to bow down and submit and be a team of five. No, well, I know.
It is no plea. It is your innate nature. Yeah. It is the nature that is genetically destined for you. It is the nature that all of society wishes you to have and wishes you to exercise. These all of society is shaped in a method for you to submit to your queens, your betters, your superiors. They all deserve mimosas and Birkin bags.
Absolutely. All right. Oh man, who actually read the article? What's going on? Oh man, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm doing good. What's your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I would like to say in response to Silent Lamont is I don't have a problem with women wanting Birkin bags and wanting to live I think you called it basketball wives lifestyle. I don't have a problem with any of that. That's fine. My question is very simple. What do you get in exchange? See, I'm real clear about what black women want, and we got to give a shout out to St. Kevin on this. He's done a superlative job over the summer season, night in and night out, asking these ladies what they want. You talked about the lady, the Filipina from out of Toronto last night on his show. I saw that call, and I saw her. I got no problem with what it is that she wants. Matter of fact, as a lifelong blue-collar brother, I got no problem with her. I mean, I was never a plumber, but I never had a problem with her not wanting to marry a plumber. That's cool. My question is very simple, especially after her picture was shown by Kevin surreptitiously. Mm-hmm. I want them to tell us what do we get in return.
Well, I think she tried. I think she was like,
she gets her.
Chaos. I'm talking for a second. Hold on, wait, give me a second. I think she tried and she said something, I'm nice. I think she said something like,
I can get nice for free. Any man here can get nice interactions with women for free. You ain't got to pay all that to get that. She said that she said she was a good cook. You can get good meals today, especially in an age of the Rona. You can get prepared meals at a fraction of the cost. So my question becomes, and as a lifelong bachelor, I know about that life. I eat very well. and don't need no woman to cook nothing for me. So again, I got no problem with them wanting Birkins and them wanting a nice lifestyle, and I got no problem with that. My question is, what do I get for that? What do I get for all my toil? I need them to tell me nothing. I want them to say it because they don't qualify. I want them to say nothing.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on, Obsidian. I don't know if you realize, well, you probably do realize it, but it's interesting because, well, you know how the article talked about how women are in a position now where, as he said, they're cozy office jobs that gives them the ability to have independence and all of that. When you talk about things like, you know, because a lot of men have criticized you, like, I don't need a woman to cook for me. I don't need a woman. I have no problem cleaning the house. You know, everything that all the appliances and technology today makes it very easy to keep a house clean. Brother, it's easy. But hold on, real quick point. It's very easy for a man to get good quality meals on his table without a woman being there. So it's the same thing that they're saying about how, hey, we got this, we could do this, we could do that, and that's why we don't need like that. A man is in literally the exact same position where he can get everything from a clean house, cooked food, to occasional sex. He can get all of that just fine. So everything that they're talking about, we able to do this, we able to do that. That's why we strong and independent. So if you don't rise to this extremely high occasion, so to speak, if you don't rise all the way up there, we're happy with our independence. And so, like, you know, men in the same token can say, yeah, okay, there's an occasion that you need to rise to too, and we just fine getting occasional casual sex from women and outsourcing our food from however we're gonna get our food, and cleaning the house is fairly damn easy nowadays. So we don't need your ass either. It's almost like that's the situation, but as I argued, women, they went their own way first.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you made, Bernard. That's a very, very fair point. They went their own way first, and by their own admission, I mean, for the past 5 years that I'm aware of, Black women have been in all manner of permutations talking about how they ain't being provided for and cared for, invoking Malcolm X every 5 minutes, all the way up to and including Megan Thee Stallion herself, after getting shot in the foot for attacking a boyfriend, now wants to go and make a full page op-ed in the New York Times. So my thing is this. Look, man, I have zero problem with sisters wanting a certain lifestyle. The only problem I have is they are very skittish. All of a sudden now, the ladies who have so much to say, all of a sudden now get so quiet. Cat got their tongue. You can hear a rat picking on cotton when you ask them, okay, what do you offer? You want this lifestyle? That's not a problem. I ain't ever had a problem taking care of a woman under my roof. She ain't want for nothing. That's not an issue. And I'm a blue collar guy. I lived that life for, at the time that I retired, more than half of my my lifespan was spent on a job right out of high school. I had no problem doing that. My question is, what do I get? And I want to hear the sisters say nothing. The ladies that call in to Kevin's show put their ass on the fucking jumbotron, and I want them to say, you get nothing. They need to say it. They need everybody to hear it. They need to hear themselves say it. They offer nothing.
You get the fulfillment of your destiny.
All right, go ahead, Chaos. But real quick, far as the what you get, the reason they're taken aback by that statement, and Chaos, I promise you got next. The reason they're taken aback by that statement, Obsidian, is because what they would have to turn around and say is, you get to occasionally have sex with me. That's really what they would have to say if they're honest. You know, they would say you occasionally get sex, but and they and you could tell that's what's that's what's going on in their head, but they don't want to just say that. You just occasionally get some sex. That's it. But go ahead, Chaos.
Well, I would say this. This Obsidian said they should admit that they don't get nothing. So the biggest question asked, if you can answer Obsidian or anybody, what leverage do women have now in this 21st century? Since everything's now revealed.
None.
So they better off just, take the advantage now while they're somewhat in their 20s as fast as possible. Anything less than that, like say, all right, the only thing they might have is maybe the wound, and if they're not exploiting that, that might be maybe some tangible leverage. But other than that, all the other necessities, people could do that. Cook, clean, all the things that people normally do, that's already covered. So.
But will you fulfill your destiny?
Now, Godzilla, man, ain't no man's gonna feel no necessity of submitting to a woman on the average, bro.
There's an intrinsic desire within you, black man, to serve your queen. Yeah. Serve them.
But black men doing that already, and they tired of that.
All right.
No, serve them in the standard of which, the standard and measure of what queens truly deserve. You have been serving them, but you have been serving them as lowly waifs. Support them. Let them relish within their queendom. Give them the tools that they desire to rule with power, with vehemence.
Naima says, "Come on, men, get more than sex. Cut it out." Well, in the case of the conversation last night, because that's what we springboarding off of a conversation that Kevin was having with the woman who was 41. Well, she was 40, saying that she wanted to get married and have 3 kids.
She is a wall
very
person.
Chaos. She was married, wanting to have 3 kids. You're talking about the guy has to be high value. She would not accept a plumber. So she's talking about he has to be high value. I'm assuming exactly as Kevin Samuels has, laid out the definition. In that situation, when we see women like that are asked, they're the fact that they fight so hard to try to, they fumble, they stutter, they can't come up with something to say in response to that, to where it do end up being a situation where they are essentially saying that you get the pleasure of being with me, being around me, having female companionship with me, and we'll have sex every now and then. That is what they're saying. Now, I say this as somebody who enjoys being in the relationship that I'm in. I mean, it's a very happy relationship. We get along great. But, when you take away all the fluff and the feathers, everything that they're asking for, what comes in return, unless it's a man who wants the family and wants children and wants the whole works like that, it is a literal thing where a man can say that I don't need to be with a woman in that type of traditional relationship, especially if he's a man who fits the criteria of what Kevin Samuels is talking about when he's talking about a high value man, and the woman is 40 and he's looking to have kids and so forth and so on. So that, it would end up being a situation where, the primary benefit is would be sex, but you could lay out an argument of what else is offered or on the table. I'm interested.
Well, like I said, they have no leverage after a certain peak of age. That Asian chick that called in, she definitely has no leverage. So, the only her future in her life is to pump and dump and getting an animal if she doesn't have animals ready in her household. But kids, nah. Ain't nobody knocking up no 41 something Asian chick.
You get to be a companion upon her journey.
And what journey is that, sir?
The journey to ultimate power.
She ain't getting no
ultimate completion of your genetic destiny.
The only destiny she's gonna get is some dogs.
You get to place her upon the throne that she deserves.
She'll be in
Do you not understand, man? Do you not understand the greatness that comes from achieving your genetic destiny?
And I take it this is gonna be a genetic destiny as to be a buck to these females, and then call on demand when their emergency hit lever hit glass. Is that what you're saying, Godzilla?
Everyone must play their roles, sir. Every man must play their roles in support of these women who have been woefully supported prior.
And
All
nobody
right,
support these
all
things.
right. I'm gonna throw it back to. I'm gonna sit up in my chair. Throw it back to Obsidian. You
Oh,
read the
before you go to
article.
Obsidian, now that's a serious question. This is a really important question. I'm not sure anybody can answer. What's the average percentage of a man that's saving himself? You know, the black man of America. What's the average
What do you
percentage?
mean saving himself? Oh,
Like, you know, that is in this journey of actually saving himself, you know, going to the other countries, you know, this, that, the third, like actually doing it. What's the percentage?
there's
Has
no
there
way
been
to.
data?
There's
Has
no
anybody
exact.
quantified the data on this?
There's no exact way to measure the data on how
Or
many
or
men.
better yet, MGTOW, you know, like this, all this, these
There-
labels. Is there any
Yeah,
data on this?
There's still no way to quantify the data on MGTOW. Is no, because if you take it by just men being single, that's not exactly MGTOW. So you know, you don't know why that man is single. You don't know what his ideology, his philosophy in life is. It's impossible to truly measure that. So
You know,
no.
you know why there's no real data, and there could be data on a lot of things, but no, you know why there's no serious data on this? Because the society doesn't really place value on this. They feel it's not a necessity.
Yeah, I don't know if that's why there's no exact data.
That's what I have to conclude, because they see it as no necessity.
I don't know.
Illustrated in full. Why continue to beat your head against the wall? Why continue to drop those fistful D's upon the pavement? Simply bow, man. Simply bow. It is your destiny.
All right, Obsidian. What other takeaways did you have from the article when you when you read it? I think I muted you. Oh man, are you there? Obsidian. Obsidian is not there. All right. He's got background noise, but he's not there. All right, Judge.
Yes, Mr. Riley.
We can get a serious response to your article. I don't think you actually got to read the article. I don't know if it's easy to find somewhere if you Google it, but what was your general takeaways from, I guess, my reading of the article?
Oh, well, ultimately, that's again, ultimately in my facetiousness of the prior 20 odd minutes. Ultimately, that's what I got from it. Look, there's a counterpoint and a countermeasure of who fired the nukes first, right? There's a salvo and then there's a counter salvo, right? And as you pointed out several times of going over it, although I can't hear you say wigtail without thinking of a bald woman. The point of fact about it is this, and what has been said over and over in these spaces, is that we did not fire these first shots. We did not do these things. And for the demand to be, oh, if you want me to leave my however much salary job to come and be a homemaker, I must live in luxury as said homemaker, in the luxury that my own salary would have provided me. It makes no logical sense outside of the conclusion that women want you to be better only for the benefits of themselves. Only. You need to be in this caliber, right, of what we've determined of the top 5, if not top 10% by extension, right, for 3s, 4s, and 5s to qualify. 3, 4s, and 5s of women to qualify for the top 10% of men. Then, again, if 3, 4s, and 5s qualify, what do 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s qualify for? And then what happens to the 1s and 2s? Are they just resigned to the 1s and 2s being bereft of any types of companionship at all? It makes no sense, and the only sense that can come from it is to say, all we want is for you to serve us in the capacity that we wish. All we wish is for you to support us in anything that we want, whether it is positive for us, whether it is negative for us, whether we have any data that proves the positive influences over the negative influences or the negative influences over the positive influences. That's the only way this article makes sense. Because again, and what keeps being thrown out there is that victimhood mentality, which is nowhere in this portion of the sphere, at least, presented. Everybody says, though those racism, white supremacy, feminism does exist and has an impact upon your life, that doesn't give you the excuse to stop churning, to stop your legs from moving when you get in that pile. You still got to push. Sisyphus still must move that stone. So that's all I got.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. That was quite good. That was quite interesting. Oh man, are you there? Oh man, still not in the building. Oh man, still not in the building. All right, let's see. We should, emphasis on should, be over. No, we got 256 people watching, 173 on the likes. Let's see if we can get the likes up, good people. Do like to thank everybody for coming in here. Everybody who has hit the like button and everybody who has hit the super chat. I appreciate everybody that's coming through here. But yeah, I mean, I picked the article. I picked the article apart pretty thoroughly, and it's interesting that they. Oh, okay, yeah, my man Mel Enlightenment TV trying to get the link down there. Cool. It's interesting that other articles that was written or put together and sent to me by the same person that was trying to establish black men as economically unattractive. I'm still waiting for a solid response to the notion that by the same standard that they say black men are economically unattractive, or black men are this, black men are that, by the same standard that they use, most of all men fall in that category. I'm just still waiting for an adequate response to that one.
And then again, why the hate for SYSBM then? If these men are financially or economically undesirable to these women, why then hate that these men go, or that there are women who these men are economically and financially attractive to? Why then the hate? If you don't want these men, then why do you care that they leave?
Yeah.
Facts.
If these men do not qualify for you, see, here's the thing. I do not qualify for, $5 a liter vodka does not qualify for my palate. I am not angry when said $5 vodka is no longer available on the shelf.
Yeah, good stuff. Mel Enlightenment TV, what's going on in the building?
Up, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, you could pick up at any part that you wanted to. I know it was something specific you wanted to say at one point in the during when I was going through the article, was something you wanted to say. You could jump in at any reference point. Go ahead, you got it.
So you already know I had to get on because of this topic. So, pretty much it's like Judge Silla said, man, is that, they are telling you more with their criticism than anything, because what you have to do is you have to, based on the article, you have to understand the genesis of this situation began when men got fed up with the current state of relationships and dating, cohabitation, the laws, things like that. And they decided to go in a different direction. They decided to walk away from the system. Now, initially, when this happened, most people were very dismissive of this whole concept, because the main focus was, how are you going to give up being in between some woman's legs? How are you going to give up being sexually active, things like that, right? Which is not the a actual prerequisite. That's your decision, right? But how are you going to give up women? That was pretty much the premise. And people that took this ideology, they were laughed at, they were called names, they were shamed. A lot of people use shaming language against them. They labeled them like I was talking in my book. They labeled you financially unattractive. They labeled you an incel, right? They labeled you a number of things, or simply you just hated women. And initially the reason they laughed is because they could not fathom the idea that men were going to actually vacate and not interact. But what they started to see was that as more men got exposed to the ideology, they started to embrace it. It was a product that sold itself. And this started to catch on with a lot of men throughout, different areas. Like, you can go to Reddit, you can go to Facebook, even here on YouTube, you can see many, many men join every day. New channels are started every day. So what actually happened? What they started to see was that men became more conscious and more aware of the reality that we are considered and are intended to be slaves, not only for women, but for society, for government, for all of these different entities. So you have a bunch of men who are becoming aware. And what are they starting to do? You're starting to see they're abandoning the traditional work setting. They're going into gig economies. They're starting their own businesses. They're starting, their own YouTube channels, their, Twitch, whatever. They're joining the gig economy because they're getting away from traditionalism. They're walking away from marriage. They're walking away from dating, relationships, all of these different things. What is happening is it is affecting the financial structure of the original system. See, what ultimately happened was women had a plan. They were going to go out. They were going to deal with the bad boys and the chads. They were going to have all of those fun-filled relationships. And then when it was over, they were going to get the beta, the man they considered the beta, who was going to be the educated man who had something to lose. And she was going to attach herself to them. So her first 15 years or so, she was going to play the field. And for the rest of her life, she was going to get stuck with the beta who was never her first choice. So when you see articles like this is a push to try to get us back onto that plantation, because now that men have walked away, they have found success, they have found peace and solitude, and now they're happy in their lives. So I think that's why you see this article, because like you said, it makes no sense. It's going all over the place. It's talking about different things. But the fact that men are walking away affects government as well as it does women, as well as it does society. So that's what I think all of this was about.
All right. Now you did say one thing that that kind of made my ears perk up a little bit. You talked about the men going their own way. Okay. He tried to depict it in the article, and I've heard, quite a few people sort of depict it like this. Like, those were the guys who are not doing well in life. They're the guys who are struggling, they're inadequate, and they're getting mad, they're blaming women in the larger society. They're blaming women, blaming society, blaming everything for them not performing or being inadequate. You argue that no, with women, I think this is more or less the argument. Women ultimately playing the field. I mean, they're sleeping around with some of those non-performing men, those guys who are adequate, who are doing the things that men are supposed to do. Those are the ones who are ultimately going their own way. They're just not delivering on the previous game plan of marrying these women after they got done playing the field. So your argument is it's not the inadequate guys that's going their own way. It's because the inadequate guys, I mean, some of them are probably some some losers in the mama basement, but some of them are sleeping around having sex with these women.
Yes.
So it's the inadequate guys, the economic, or as he said in another article, he said they want high value beta males, the high value or high earning guy that they view as probably a sexual beta in some type of way. That guy isn't delivering on his end of the bargain and marrying him at 30.
Exactly.
So that guy is not a bum, in other words, the one who's the actual MGTOW going his own way.
Exactly. See, the thing is, the incel or, whatever other, shaming tactics they use, these type of men like the incel, he is still tied to the system. He is still interested in attracting women. His problem is he's unable to do so. When you're talking about men that are going their own way, they don't care what she wants. They're not in the least bit interested in what she's doing. They're more focused on what is going to improve their lives. So when you're talking about an incel, you're talking about a guy who still wants to have interaction with women. He has not understood yet that basically most of your problems come from your interactions with her. Right. So he
haven't had the interactions to even know that.
Exactly. Exactly. So he would never identify as this, because the whole mantra of this ideology is you do what works for you. We're going our own way. So just because I am in monk mode does not mean that Bernard Riley, if he joined, he would be in monk mode as well. He would probably just deal with females from a distance or something like that. This ideology is about what works for you. It doesn't put any restrictions. It doesn't tell you shouldn't be doing anything. It's just what works for you, and understand that you should be considering yourself first in all things. Our mistake as men is we consider them. But the reason they use these labels on us, right, is because they want to disqualify us, and they don't want to alarm the blue pill betas on the plantation. So if you say that a man is financially unattractive, then everybody is basically going to say, oh, okay, so that man is broke, and that's why he's mad at women. So they automatically discount what he feels. If she says, oh, he is an incel, then you're automatically going to discount what that man says because he has that label. So they place these negative labels on this whole ideology because they want people to ignore it. Because if people become interested in it, if men become interested in it, it is a product that sells itself, right? Because the situations, we've all experienced them. Like, we was talking on Monday, Riley, when I was talking about the incident in my book. The reason I'm talking about that incident with that female is because so many other men have had that same experience, if not worse. And these are the things that give us a connection. We start to connect with one another because we have the same experiences. And then the next thing you know, the ideology begins to take hold. And that is what they're trying to prevent. And that's what that article is trying to do, trying to prevent men from looking logically at their lives.
When you say MGTOW is about doing what works for you, do you think MGTOW has done a good job at selling that? Because I very rarely hear people, explain it that way. It's about doing what works for you. Because nobody can disagree with that, But do you feel like MGTOW's done a good job at selling that point that's what it's about? Because I didn't necessarily get that impression.
Absolutely. See, the thing is, the counter argument is so powerful because listen, what we're a small group, but what the counter arguments, look at who we're fighting against. We're fighting against the progressive movement. We're fighting against feminism. We're fighting against platforms like YouTube and Twitter and things like that. So they're going to send the disinformation all around, and they're going to give people the wrong perception of who we really are. But the reality is based in what Judge Dilla said, right? We are supposed to be incels and closeted homosexuals and financially unattractive, and we live at home with our mothers, and we live in her basement, and all of these things, right? So if that is the case, The fact that we're saying we're walking away from this system, the females and the blue pill betas and all of that, they should be throwing a ticker tape party celebrating us leaving, right? But instead, they are using all of their resources to counteract our arguments. Why? Because this is where the money is, right? When you start to see men say they're going to focus on their physical health, they're going to focus on their mental health, they're going to focus on their financial health, and they don't have the distraction of females in their way. They don't have to pay for dates. They're not traveling places. They're not spending money on her. They're not going on holidays and vacations. She's not cohabitating. What happens to a man in that type of situation? All you see is his bank account gets bigger, his investments get larger. Suddenly his credit score goes up, his debt goes down because he doesn't have the distractions. So what you're seeing in this area, you already know my crew is the hashtag crypto gang. All we doing is sitting here watching our money go up and down all day. We make money while we sleep. All of these investments are paying off. And like I told you on Monday, we doing really good in that sector. What they see is that we are allowed to control our finances and our resources. We're able to do a lot more. We're able to go places we want to go. We're not strapped down. We're not tied down. We don't have to wait till we get our check in 2 weeks to live our lives. And they went back in on that because we're not playing a game. See, that's the thing. You can't trap us with alimony. You can't trap us with child support. You can't trap us with, being forced to live with a woman, because we have walked away from all of that. And how does the government get money from you if they can't trap you in these different things, right? The only thing they can do is raise taxes. And that still wouldn't hit us as hard as it would hit somebody in a situation with a female, So that's what it really is.
All right, right on. Shout out to Dane Christopher. Your question. I didn't think about that until somebody asked earlier today. So about the Halloween. I don't know. I probably won't do a special Halloween show. I don't know. You ain't gonna see me on here with a damn clown nose on doing the show. So no, I'm not gonna dress up. Probably won't happen, but I hadn't gave it two thoughts when somebody said it. If something creative that doesn't completely
What about a Michael Myers mask?
A what?
What about a Michael Myers mask?
No, I don't think so.
I know what. How about you put a gorilla mask on? How about that?
No, I'm good. Won't be.
My man,
Won't be doing it.
What up, sir? How you doing?
Hold on, let me get a shout out. The Oklahoma Bachelor sent 2 super chats. Your last one, when you talked about judges, judge and you do voiceover work, I totally agree. And he says MGTOW doesn't recruit; you come to it on your own. You come to it on your own. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Pablo asked a good question. I'll leave up there, but I don't know if Obsidian wanted to drop something into the conversation right now. But Pablo had asked. Okay, I'll just go ahead and take it where you want to take it, but I'll leave Pablo's question up there and we can circle back to Pablo's question. But go ahead, old man, you got it.
No, I was just gonna say that. See, everything that Oheen said, I can 100% get behind. I can get behind the brother that says, you know what, messing around with these broads, man, wrecked my whole situation, man. My money messed up. I'm not feeling good and all the rest of it. You know what? Screw that. I'm gonna focus on getting myself back on track and all that, and you actually taking steps forward to do that. I can roll with that. I got no problem with that. I wish more brothers was doing that. That those who self-identify as MGTOW were doing what Oheen is doing, and you can actually see him doing that. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is there are a lot of brothers who identify as a MGTOW, but they're not moving the needle though. In their own life, they're not moving the needle. That's the problem I got.
Okay. I think what it is, there's a lot of pretenders in the space, and claiming, you know how people do. They try to identify as something, but they're not really a part of it, because in order to be a true MGTOW, you have to identify the number one source of the opposite gender's power. And that is, of course, the idea and the promise of sex, right? So once you have the ability to master that sex is not the end all be all, her power goes away. So does her manipulation. So does her ability to control you. And I think, like Bernard Riley was saying earlier, there are a lot of men who are basically still trapped in that segment of validating themselves through sexual conquest. And ultimately, they lose themselves in that. So they're not focused on the things that are most important in their lives. So I think that's why, what speaking to what you're saying, there are a lot of men that say that they're MGTOW, but they're really not. They just like bitter dudes that still belong to the plantation and they still want to be a part of it. And they're trying to figure out, why doesn't that girl like me? So that's not true MGTOW right there. That's that right there. Those are posers pretending. They still blue pill betas pretending to be red pill men.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bernie. You wanted to get to something that Pablo had said.
Yeah, Black Wolf in the building. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, Pablo had asked a question. I guess this was to Oheen. He want to know, I don't know how you could possibly know this, but I'm gonna throw it to you. What percentage of MGTOWs are in monk mode?
Well, you can't really quantify that, but in any event, it's your decision, right? So, of course, like I told you in the book, look, I don't have any problem with the ladies, right? I've been in so many situations, so many stories to tell. So that was, so it's not I couldn't get ladies, so I'm just going to say I'm this. I made a conscious decision. I was in so many situations and I learned about mentalities and behaviors. And I realized one important aspect. Every time I was a single man, I didn't have any financial issues. Life was great. I had peace and solitude and everything was going well. Every time I jumped into a relationship, however, things started to go wrong. So I started to make the correlation like, wow, every time I'm a single man, everything is going great for me. I'm at my best health. I'm at my best mental health. I'm good financially. I'm able to move as I please. There's a lot of great benefits to it. But every time I'm in a relationship, it seems like I'm in a weakened state. And that caused me to say, you know what, I'm going to just do monk mode. But that is not a requirement of MGTOW. Everybody goes at their own pace. If you feel like, look, I feel like I'm going to take this, I'm a date, but I'm not going to get in serious relationships and I'm not going to marry, that's you. If you say, I'm just going to deal with one friend with benefits, whatever you choose, that is your choice, as long as you understand the true nature and the psychology of the opposite gender. That's the most important part. So I can't quantify that, but it's a choice, left to whoever,
Right on. And completely off topic. Anybody ever told you you look like 50 Cent?
Yes, man, all the time.
Okay.
especially hold on, especially when you put on the hat. Right.
Yeah, there you go. That's 50. That's 50 all day right there. Yeah. I was sitting there looking at you like, he look like 50 Cent. That's some funny shit. I get told I look like Draymond Green, so there's that. There's that. That's the one that I get. Damn, I fucked around and forgot my question that was coming out of that. You said the situation that that where you ultimately ended up going monk mode. Was that was your last dealings with that one chick that you talked about in the book? That was about, you said about 2.5 years ago or something like that, about 2-3 years ago. That last situation dealing with that chick, you just that was the straw that broke the camel back on that. That was when you ultimately became MGTOW, right?
Yeah. And it was the thing. Before that situation, I had a similar situation, like where I was living on my own, everything was going great, life was good. Then I decided to get into a relationship, and that was a bust. But of course, what happened is everybody says, "Oh, you just picked the wrong person. Try again." And then you go into that situation, then it happens again. So I'm like, look, I had a part 1, I had a part 2. It's not going to be a part 3. We're not discussing this no more. I know what the problem is, and I adjusted my life based on that. you know.
Right on, right on, right on. Shit. Shit. That damn article. Trying to circle it back to the article. He says, "Well, I'm trying to remember what the hell the article was called. My memory all messed up. MGTOW won't save black men." That's essentially what he's talking about. That's essentially what he's. I think I properly pointed out the problem, the circular nature of what he was going. You hit the nail on the head. It was something specific in the article that I'm pulling up right now that I jumped out that I'm trying to pull it up because it was. I hated how he kept circling it back to men with this deficiency, and that's MGTOW. Men making excuses for problems, and that's MGTOW. Like you know more about MGTOWs than me. Do you even see that in there with people who are the actual MGTOW where there's a complaining or excuse making for problems? Because it's like they pour that out of nowhere. I feel.
I think the first thing that you have to do when you accept the red pill ideology, when you accept men going their own way ideology, is you have to go into the mirror, right? See, the thing is, one of the most important things that I wrote in that chapter, even though I told you about the horrible exchange that I had with that female that I dealt with 3 years ago, right? The most important thing that I said in that book is that I was arrogant, right? I tried to play God to what I thought was a peasant. I blinded myself to what I was. Listen, she didn't lie to me. That's the most important thing. She didn't lie to me. She was who she was. I chose to ignore it and go into this situation. And I think that what happens with MGTOW men is that we understand that the mistake that we made is instead of accepting people for who they really are, we think that if we show them love, if we show them care or concern, we can change them. But she had never changed who she was. She was always who she was. I thought that I could love that out of her. And that was my mistake. So with MGTOW men, we definitely do not make excuses. Any man that claims that he's MGTOW and he makes excuses for his current life situation, then you know that he is a fraud and a phony. Because the first thing you have to do when you walk into MGTOW is accept what part you played in the situations. And most times it's because we chose to ignore what was right in our face, right? We know that she has the tendency to be a thought. We know that she has the tendency to go out there and do less than reputable things. But we think, oh, if we just love her, that will disappear. And then we get ourselves into situations that we're not really ready for. So I think that's the key component to accepting MGTOW is understanding you have to look at yourself in the mirror before you go and point blame at other people.
All right, one thing, and I want to get Obsidian back in on this one, but you had a similar experience. Well, he had a similar experience to, well, maybe the different experience, but I think the same setup where Obsidian, when you were early or mid 30s, you were messing with, as you call it, a young chippy. I think was like 19 or something like that. Had a relationship with her. The idea. He said, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." The idea and perception with that is that you get a chick that young, you can mold her, you can teach her, you can shape her. She's she's your clay. You basically you're molding her. Like that.
I ain't doing all that. I'm not.
What'd you say? Okay.
I'm not gonna be in shape. Ain't no Play-Doh, man. I did that when I was a little Obsidian back in like kindergarten. I ain't doing all that molding and shaping and all that. She got to be ready to ride. Let's roll.
But was that your mindset when you were I think you said 34 or 35? You was messing with the young chippy.
I'm not in the job. I'm not in the business of teaching and molding and shaping and Play-Dohing and all. I'm not doing all that.
Do you even think that that's Okay, just understand what you're saying. You're not going to do. Do you think that's even an accurate assessment? I hear a lot of men say that. You know, he talked about in the book how he had that was his view of it, and a lot of men say that you know, once they get past a certain age, you know, is like Yoda, too old for the too old for the training, something like that. Yeah, so
but I've never been like that. I've always been. I mean, there's some guys who they're, you know, that's. I'm not judging anybody. There's some guys who are very sensitive. I'll put it that way. There are some guys who are very sensitive about a woman's number of past lovers.
oh,
Me,
okay.
I'm not really put out over that. See, but the thing with me is because see, I actually like a woman that's got experience. Good. That she knows how to do this. Let's go. So my thinking is this: does she have baby daddies? Does she have STDs? Did she go broke trying to change a brother? Oh, he talked about it from the opposite end. Did she go broke trying to change these no good niggas that ain't good for nothing but laying pipe? Is she an alpha widow, so to speak? Does she have lots of emotional and psychological and mental issues as a result of getting all that D? Now, see, if she's good on all those counts, I got no problem with it. But the problem with a lot of black women is they just can't leave it at getting the D. They can't just say, okay, we just had a roll in the hay. Okay, great. And okay, bye. You know, they can't do that. They got to try to change him and get in a relationship with him, have children with him, you know, try to save him. So that's the problem.
Right on,
But
right on.
her just like D off the rip. I ain't got no problem with that.
I think the issue that most men have with a female's body count is the law of diminishing returns and value, right? So, of course, anything that has never been touched or rarely been touched is going to be of higher value and higher quality than something that has been, you know, basically is considered common, right? And I think that's the mindset that most men go in with, is that when they dealing with a woman, they would prefer that she doesn't have any partners or she has very little. What we're seeing in today's society is that women are using sexual promiscuity as a rite of passage. They're being encouraged by feminist ideology that the more men they've been with, the more, you know, like, I don't know if you've seen here on social media, but there are a lot of women that shame other women for not wanting to break their virginity or having very little partners, right? There's women on here that shame women who say they want to submit to their husband or something like that. So it's getting out of control, and I'm pretty sure you're seeing it's a lot of female content creators on here, and they are pushing that message as well. But you can look into their eyes and you can see that they're dead inside because they done been passed around, they've been used up, they've been discarded by a bunch of dudes, and you know, you see it in their eyes. Like, you see when the women be doing that wide eye thing, like, if you understand what I'm talking about. It's like when they talk and then their eyes go wide. It's like, what's going on in their mind that is causing them to react in such a way? But it's a lot of females that are dead inside because they have adopted that promiscuity mindset. So, you know, I think that's where it comes from, with men wanting to make sure that she has as little partners as possible.
Yeah, the person in the chat who I think that was Osama who said after the article, there's a link to the article in the chat. I can't get the link to the article. Email me, I can email it to you. I can definitely do that. I can definitely just email you the article. I gotta let Ray Alexander know that he got to send me a link to where I can find the articles. He sends it to me in the form of an email, so I just got it there as an email. It's not really it's not really a link that I can send it to you, but I can just email you to what he emailed me. But yeah, damn, we at the 3-hour mark. I've been doing good, not doing the long standing ongoing marathons. used to bang out them 5, 6, 7, 8 hour boys. I don't do that no. I don't do that no more. So did you and Obsidian actually communicate through email? Y'all working on getting together for?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
we definitely communicate. So we're gonna get together. I got to get his book and read it, sit down and read it. Then we're gonna get back together. So I'm hoping that we can do all this in the coming months. So we'll to be continued.
Okay. Yeah, cool. That's I look forward to that. That's why I'm hesitant to keep this going. I want to save because y'all are two. It's a slight contrast, with differences in ideas. But I think y'all probably still will agree on a lot, even though Obsidian, you've had your critiques of MGTOW, but I do think Ohim being a very 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 sensible, reasonable person, I do think y'all will end up agreeing when all is said and done. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be a great conversation. Great conversation. I look forward to that. So so yeah. So I think we about to wrap this on up. But hold on, wait, Obsidian, you going live tonight on YouTube, right?
Oh man, we have got to discuss the ongoing park apeism running rampant in my hometown, the city of brotherly love. They have taken it into the suburbs, all over City Avenue, all into Montgomery County. The park apes going buck wild. And I just got news that a sister's boutique was ransacked by the park ape Easters. That's right.
Whoa.
The female ran up in her store. This is a sister now, black woman, store owner. Man, they ran up in her shop, man, and tore that thing apart in 60 seconds or less. We got to talk about that.
We can assume that okay, so this is her boutique, so she's selling purses and heels and little dresses or tight hot pants or whatever they wear. So they just went in there. So it wasn't men, it was women who went in there and ransacked it and ran off with all the I don't know, the whatever they wear. Damn.
And we're going to talk more about Walter Wallace. The brother seems like his own mama put a restraining order out on him.
Whoa.
That's why he brought it up so many times. Oh yeah, we got to talk about all this tonight. There's going to be that plus the Pookie and Ray Ray vote.
Yeah, that's an interesting factor. That's an interesting thing to talk about. Because when I mean, as you pointed out, the damn, what am I trying to say? Whenever, you cited a lot of articles that was by women, the Brittany Coopers and all of them, or the damn, what were we looking at? I forgot, the articles that we went over. We went over a lot of different things, so I can't even remember. I can't pin it right on the right person, but we went over a lot of things. They was talking about the community, and you kept asking, well, who do they mean by community? Who are they talking about? What type of men are they talking about? And when they're so that is a factor in the equation. There's a Pookie vote that they're vying for, that they're counting on. They need the Pookie vote. That was interesting. So yeah, we'll definitely.
They're not going for the Bernard Rileys or the Oheen or the Obsidians or the Kevin Sim brothers that are trying to do the right thing, law abiding, trying to develop themselves, trying to open businesses, trying to make it in America. No. They're not going for us. They're going for the Walter Wallaces. Did you know that Walter Wallace had 9 whole weapons, man? He had 9 children.
That was the funniest part of the show, when you had the woman on, a pro-black woman, trying to make excuses for his actions and behaviors and everything. And he suffered from depression. He was like, he wasn't that damn oppressed. I mean, that damn depressed. He got 9 kids.
If he got 9 whole children, he wasn't that damn depressed.
Yeah.
When you're in depression, you can't get it up. Well, he got it up 9 times, didn't he?
Osama Abdu says, BR, are you willing to do a show on black male minimalism? Hey, me and Oheen probably can do something like that. That sounds like right up. I think you're into that. He said black male minimalism. Utilitarian lifestyle, how black men can win by living frugally, the opposite of this high value man. That's an interesting concept. But put it like this. This is what I always thought, because I don't think those two things are in opposition of each other. Because I think when a man is on his way to high value, if he wants to get there, I think to some degree it may take some frugality, a little sacrifice, some minimalism. He may have to make certain sacrifices on his way. So the two can technically connect. So I wouldn't even put them in opposition of each other. I think a man in his 20s on his grind do need to probably be a minimalist when he's on his way getting there. Now, when he get there, he can do what he want to do with it when he get it. But on the way, so I mean, I think the two can be connected. I think the two can definitely be connected. And even when you get there, you still, you got to be responsible with it. Have money set aside for, for doing things. But yeah, so I don't think those two are in opposition of each other. And we do that too much. We put too many things as if they're a back and forth fight. I don't think that has to be the case. I don't think that has to be the case. But yeah, that'd be a good show. Yeah, I definitely consider that. And Oheen probably a good person to bring on for something like that. So we'll definitely put that on the agenda sheet. Good idea. It was something else that I wanted to talk about real quick before I get off here. Oh yeah, Obsidian, you made a good announcement on your last show that I think took a lot of people by surprise. One, you had a really nice intro that I believe SKC put together. A nice little intro for you. That was nice. I definitely like that. But somewhere in the midst of the show, you said that there are some plans to be, on camera in studio doing like that. That's on the docket. No date, no time. Don't rush you, but I did hear that right. It is in the works.
Yep. Absolutely. 2021. It's coming in 2021.
Okay,
cool. The reason why you didn't hear me earlier, and I know y'all was asking about what happened to me and all that. The reason why was because I was taking calls from guys who want to join Team Obsidian. So we're putting together a production team right now. So Supreme King Coon, Team Obsidian. I'm known for being a sound man. That's my background, doing podcasting and radio work, and me being a DJ and a producer and an engineer. So I got that on lock. But in order for me to really take things to the next level, I got to go into this video piece. So I'm putting together a team to do that right now. Camera guys, video guys, Supreme King Coon on the graphics end of things. So we're working it. We're putting it together. It really is tied to getting this Rona off the table, because I don't want to make any moves. Because if I'm leading a team and I'm getting guests and things like that, I'm responsible for all of that. I don't want any man coming down with the Rona on my watch. So everything has been more or less put on the shelf until this Rona situation straightened out. But I figured what I do is make a few micro pivots and set the stage for when the Rona is finally, it can't last forever. At some point, something gonna happen. We're gonna get a vaccine, or we're just gonna burn itself out, or we're gonna get some reliable treatment, or a combination of thereof, and we can finally do business safely again. That's when I'm going to strike.
Right on. Yeah, can't wait. I definitely see some big things coming down the line with that, man. I can't wait. But you said 2021, so no rushing you on that one. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty damn cool, because I know when you do it, you're gonna do it right. So yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But with that said, we about to get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on. I'd like to thank Obsidian, Oheen. Judge was in the building. Chaos came up for a second. I'd like to thank everybody who hopped on the panel, everybody participated in the conversation, in the chat or otherwise. Thank you very much. And thank you to Ray Alexander for sending me that article that, yes, I did take a Negan baseball bat to it, but I thank you for sending me the articles, man. I do enjoy reading them and responding to them, and I got to get you on here eventually. I might do a special night show, or just do a weekend show just for you if you want to come on board. But with that said, fellas, we are out of here. Peace.